Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Facts channel. Tonight, we drift together into a quiet celebration of the planet we call home. A world shaped not by haste or noise, but by the slow artistry of time, gravity, sunlight, and the endless breath of wind. As you settle into stillness, allow the gentle rhythm of Earth itself to guide your thoughts. Let your shoulders soften, your breathing deepen, and your mind loosen its grip on the day. Because for this moment, and for the length of this journey, there is nothing you must do but drift and listen. Earth has been here for more than 4.5 billion years, quietly sculpting itself into the places we now hold dear. Long before continents formed their familiar shapes, long before oceans found their basins, or mountains found their peaks, the young planet was a sphere of molten chaos. Yet from that glowing beginning came a harmony so intricate and so gentle that it now serves as a cradle for life in forms beyond counting. Even now, as you rest, the planet beneath you is still moving, shifting, breathing, evolving in ways too slow to notice and too vast to fully comprehend. But when we pause, when we grow still enough, we can almost feel its heartbeat. Tonight, we wander through 100 natural wonders of this world, not in haste, not in excitement, but in quiet reverence. Each wonder is a reminder that the Earth is an artist with infinite patience. Mountains rise grain by grain. Deserts expand with the passing of shadows. Forest canopies open and close like lungs. Rivers carve pathways so slowly that an entire civilization might bloom and fade before their lines shift by the width of a palm. And still, they continue. They shape the landscape while you sleep, while generations come and go, while continents drift across an ancient sea of stone. If you listen closely, you may sense that these wonders are not distant or separate from you. You are made of the same minerals that rest in mountain stones, the same water that flows in rivers, the same elements that sparkle in the air above the ocean. Every breath you take passes through forests that inhale and exhale in rhythms older than language. Every sip of water you drink contains molecules forged in the hearts of stars long before Earth was even born. In this way, the wonders of the planet are not simply places you can visit. They are part of what you are. Their history is your history. Their quiet movements echo in your bones and bloodstream. As we drift deeper into this gentle journey, imagine the planet slowly turning beneath you. Picture the continents outlined in dusk blue, their coastlines softened by the glow of moonlight. See the mountains rising in shadowed silhouettes, the deserts shimmering beneath starlight, the forests swaying in winds that have crossed oceans. Imagine the distant poles glowing with pale auroras, waving like silent curtains of light. Every corner of Earth holds a story, a rhythm, a memory of creation, and all of them are unfolding at this very moment. Even as your eyelids grow heavier, the wonders we explore are not chosen for spectacle alone. They are chosen because each one reflects a quiet truth about the world. That beauty can be slow, that change can be gentle, that power can be patient. A canyon formed by the persistent pressure of water, a glacier shaped by the silent compression of falling snow, a coral reef built grain by tiny, unseen architects. These are reminders that not all transformation requires force. Some of the most extraordinary creations are born from subtlety, from repetition, from the smallest of actions performed across the longest of times. As you rest, allow these images to drift through your thoughts. Imagine a waterfall whose mist glows in the morning light. Imagine a desert where wind shapes dunes with soft, fluid motions. Imagine a cavern where ancient stone formations rise like frozen music. Imagine a rainforest alive with color and sound, yet wrapped in a kind of sacred quiet that filters through each layer of green. These wonders do not require you to travel. They come to you as visions, as sensations, as a gentle invitation to feel the planet's presence beneath your everyday life. Even now, Earth continues its slow rotation, turning steadily toward dawn in some places and toward twilight in others. Every moment brings new colors to the sky, warm ambers, deep blues, soft violets shifting in ways that have comforted living creatures for millions of years. The rhythm of day and night, of tides and seasons, is older than memory, older than humanity, older than the forests and mountains themselves. And yet, here it is, unfolding softly around you, steady and dependable, a quiet reassurance that you are part of something vast, ancient, and beautifully balanced. As you listen to this introduction, you may begin to feel the soft gravity of rest pulling you inward. That is perfectly all right. These stories are meant to soothe, not to stimulate. They are meant to drift like slow-moving clouds across your thoughts, encouraging your mind to release its grip on anything urgent or unfinished. There is no need to stay alert or focused. If your attention wanders, let it wander. If your eyes close, let them. If sleep comes to meet you early, allow it to arrive. The Earth has waited billions of years to show you its wonders. It can wait a little longer if you drift into dreams. Before we begin our journey through these 100 natural wonders, take one more slow breath, deep, gentle, unhurried. Feel the weight of your body sinking into rest. Feel the soft rhythm of your breathing, echoing the rhythms of the world outside. You are safe here. You are calm. You are part of the same quiet universe that shaped mountains, carved rivers, and painted the sky with auroras. And now, when you're ready, we will begin our wanderings. Each part will carry you deeper into the stillness of Earth's beauty, into landscapes shaped by time and patience, into the soft embrace of nature's quiet miracles. Let the journey unfold slowly. Let it soothe your thoughts. Let it lull you into deeper calm. 1. The ancient mountains. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world softens and the day finally exhales its last breath, the ancient mountains begin to feel closer, as if their silent silhouettes are leaning gently toward your imagination. Tonight, we drift toward them with slow, unhurried steps. These mountains, older than language, older even than the first roots that dared to press into their sides, stand as patient guardians over the surface of the earth. Their peaks pierce thin, cold air, and their foundations stretch deep into the shifting crust far below your feet. As you settle into stillness, breathing softly and evenly, imagine yourself standing before them, feeling their presence like a quiet pulse beneath the surface of the world. These ridges and valleys you see now have taken millions of years to rise, shaped by forces so subtle and so patient that you would never sense their motion while standing upon their slopes. And yet they continue to move, almost imperceptibly, as though the land itself is breathing in rhythms too slow for human time. Mountains do not hurry. They rise through the gradual collision of continents, through the folding of stone, through the slow cooling of molten rock that once flowed beneath the crust. Imagine two continents drifting toward each other over the mantle, carried by currents of heat that move as slowly as your hair grows. When they meet, the land buckles, pushing upward in great ripples of stone. The Himalayas, for instance, still rise each year by a few millimeters, lifted by the ancient embrace of the Indian and Eurasian plates. If you could watch these movements accelerated through eons, as though watching a film fast-forwarding through geological ages, the mountains would ripple and swell like slow-moving waves frozen, halfway through their climb. But to the human eye, they appear timeless, unmoving. This illusion of permanence is part of their quiet magic. It reminds us that even the grandest creations can be born from patience and subtlety. Imagine standing at the base of such a mountain, feeling the ground beneath you, soil made from the slow crumbling of stone, mixed with the dust of ancient forests and long-forgotten seasons. The air grows cooler as you look upward, touched by the breath of high altitudes. Somewhere above you, snow melts into rivulets that hurry down narrow channels, carrying with them the taste of distant clouds. The jagged outline of cliffs cuts sharply into the sky, their edges shaped by wind and frost and time. These cliffs were once buried beneath oceans, compacted and layered by the weight of sediment and ancient life. Eventually, they rose upward, turned toward the sun and the cold winds that now polish their surfaces. Every ledge, every boulder, every grain of sand at your feet tells a story of Earth's long history, an archive written not in ink, but in pressure, temperature, and time. In your mind, follow a narrow path that begins to wind gently upward. Each step lifts you into a different world. At the lower slopes, forests flourish in deep greens, their leaves trembling in the mountain breeze. These trees root themselves in soil enriched by centuries of erosion, their trunks shaped by storms and sunlight. Birds nest in branches swayed by the wind, and distant echoes of water falling across stone whisper through the quiet air. Higher up, the forest thins, giving way to stunted shrubs and hardy grasses. These plants cling to shallow pockets of earth, growing in places where winter can arrive without warning, and where summer is brief and tender. This layered variation in life is called altitudinal zonation, a stacking of ecosystems in which climate shifts are measured not by miles across continents, but by steps upward through the mountain's arms. As you reach the mid-slope in your imagination, the air becomes wonderfully crisp, carrying the faint scent of stone warmed by daylight. Small clusters of alpine flowers bloom in surprising colors, violet, yellow, and white, standing out like soft sparks against gray rock. Their petals tremble in the wind, blooming fiercely in short summers, cherishing each moment of sunlight before the cold nights return. Patches of snow linger here, tucked into shaded crevices where sunlight cannot reach. These snowfields melt slowly, feeding streams and rivers far below. Even now, the mountain is alive with quiet movement. Tiny fragments of stone tumble from the heights. Ice forms and melts in gentle cycles, widening cracks grain by grain. Water trickles, carving small channels that will grow into ravines with time. These slow, constant motions shape the mountain as surely as the tectonic collisions that once raised it into being. Continue upward in thought. The trees are long gone now, and the summit rises above you in a sweep of bare rock. The air is thin, and each breath feels deeper, more deliberate. Clouds drift below you, their shadows stretching across distant valleys. The horizon dissolves into layers of blue, each a slightly different shade, fading into the curve of the planet. Here, the world feels vast and soft, wrapped in a silence so complete that it seems timeless. The mountain hums with a presence older than human memory, shaped by forces so immense that even your quiet breath feels connected to them, as though inhaling the cold air ties you momentarily to the rhythms of ancient stone. From this height, you may imagine the long procession of glaciers that once swept through the valleys below, grinding and sculpting the land. These rivers of ice carved deep U-shaped valleys, polished hard stone into smooth mirrors, and left behind lakes that still rest in their wake. Their memory remains imprinted on the land itself, visible in the shapes and curves that define each ridge and slope. Even though many of these glaciers have retreated with time, their legacy remains a quiet chapter in the mountain's long story. Standing upon the summit in your imagination, you feel small, but not insignificant. The mountains do not diminish you, they calm you. They remind you that life unfolds in many rhythms, some swift, like the flutter of a bird's wings, and some impossibly slow, like the rise of a mountain range. In their presence, worries shrink, thoughts stretch, and your breath falls into a gentler pace. Mountains embody stillness not because they do not change, but because they change so slowly that their evolution becomes a lullaby of patience. Now, imagine descending from the summit. The wind softens, the air grows warmer. The world becomes more familiar as you move toward the whispering trees below. The path carries you gently back to level ground, but the quiet presence of the mountains stays with you, settling into your thoughts like a smooth stone held in the palm. Its patience becomes your own. Its stillness becomes part of your breathing. And as you rest, you carry with you the understanding that the earth's greatest wonders were shaped not in haste, but in calm, persistent time. 2. The breathing forests. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the mountains, letting their patient silhouettes fade softly behind you as you wander toward a world made of green. A world where every leaf hums with the quiet rhythm of sunlight, and every branch carries the soft memory of wind. In this part of our journey, we drift into the forests, vast, ancient, and endlessly alive. As you breathe slowly and settle deeper into rest, picture the canopy rising above you, layered like a living sky. It bends and ripples with every breeze, creating waves of motion that move with the softness of breath. Forests are not silent. They whisper, sigh, and murmur with a music older than any instrument. Yet their sounds feel gentle, woven into the quiet in a way that calms the body and settles the mind. As you enter the forest in your imagination, the light shifts. Sunbeams fall in soft, golden columns through the branches, illuminating specks of drifting dust that look like tiny stars. The air is cooler here, touched by moisture rising from the soil, mingled with the crisp scent of bark, moss, and leaves. Each breath you take brings traces of pine resin, damp earth, and the faint sweetness of blooming flowers hidden somewhere among the understory. The ground beneath you is springy and forgiving, layered with centuries of fallen leaves that have been quietly transformed into soil by countless unseen creatures. You feel as though you are walking not on dirt, but on the gentle memory of forests that lived and died long before this moment. Forests breathe in ways we rarely notice. During the day, the leaves absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen in a slow, persistent rhythm that fills the air around you. Night, the pattern shifts. The trees inhale differently, resting, recalibrating, continuing their quiet cycles. In this way, forests shape the very air we breathe, filtering it through centuries of growth and decay. As you stand beneath the towering trunks, you are wrapped in the ancient breath of green life, a breath that stretches back through time, connecting you to the earliest forests that ever grew on Earth. Imagine the roots beneath your feet. They spread like hidden networks, branching outward and downward, twisting around stones and soil with graceful determination. Some roots intertwine with those of neighboring trees, forming silent partnerships that allow them to share water, nutrients, and information. Scientists call this connection the wood wide web, a living, underground communication system, where trees support one another through fungal threads so fine they could slip between grains of sand. When one tree suffers drought, others send water. When one is attacked by pests, neighbors prepare their defenses. This invisible web is one of nature's gentlest wonders, a reminder that survival is often a shared endeavor. As you imagine walking deeper into the forest, you begin to notice the layers of life around you. There are the tall canopy trees that lift their leaves toward the sun, the middle layers of smaller trees that stretch upward like hopeful hands, and the understory plants that thrive in dappled shade. Ferns unfurl in delicate spirals. Moss carpets fallen logs like soft green velvet. Vines loop and twist in elegant arcs, bridging the spaces between trunks. The forest is not a single entity, but an ensemble, a gathering of countless species cooperating without intention, forming an ecosystem that moves in perfect, ancient balance. Birdsong drifts through the air, in patterns that seem almost melodic. Each species calls with its own rhythm, some sharp, some fluid, some sweet and unhurried. Insects hum in the background, joining the chorus with their gentle vibrations. Far overhead, the wind moves through leaves, in a sound like soft applause. These layers of sound overlap in a gentle tapestry that feels both soothing and alive. As you listen, your heartbeat aligns with the forest's slow, steady rhythm, and your thoughts begin to drift like floating leaves on a calm stream. The forest floor beneath you holds more life than you might expect. Tiny beetles move through the soil, aerating it with their tunnels. Earthworms break down organic matter, turning fallen leaves into nutrient-rich earth. Small mammals rustle through the underbrush, moving softly between roots and ferns. Even fungi, hidden from sight, play vital roles breaking down fallen wood, recycling nutrients, creating networks that tie entire forests together. Everything in the forest is connected by cycles of growth, death, and renewal. Nothing is wasted. Nothing stands alone. Every fallen tree becomes a cradle for new life, and every seedling rises with the help of countless unseen contributors. As you wander further, imagine coming upon a clearing where sunlight spills onto the forest floor. In this gentle, open space, young saplings reach upward with delicate enthusiasm. Their leaves tremble in the warm air, reflecting the light in shimmering patterns. Insects hover and dance above them, drawn to the brightness. A soft breeze carries the scent of warm pine and blooming flowers, mingling with the earthy aroma of moss. Time seems to slow here, and you begin to feel as though the forest is not simply a place, but a presence, an ancient being that cradles you with patience and understanding. Forests hold memories in their rings. When a tree grows, each year adds a new circle within its trunk, a quiet record of seasons, storms, droughts, and sunlit abundance. If you could read these rings like words in a book, you would find centuries of history written in their patterns. Some years are thick with growth, others are narrow, recording hardships. Together, they tell the story of the landscape, the climate, and the forest itself. Trees stand as living witnesses to the passage of time. Some have watched entire civilizations rise and fall, their trunks steady even as the world around them shifts. The deeper you drift into this imagined forest, the more you feel held, as if the canopy itself offers a kind of shelter that requires no walls or roofs. The trees form columns like those in ancient temples, and the rustling leaves above resemble whispered prayers to the sky. Light filters through in soft mosaics, and the path ahead is gentle, inviting, unhurried. The forest has no expectations of you. It asks nothing. It simply exists, and your presence within it feels as natural as breath. Eventually, you find yourself near a gentle stream flowing over smooth stones. The water is clear, cool, and endlessly patient. It winds through the forest like a silver thread, carrying with it the reflections of leaves and sky. The sound of flowing water blends with the rustle of trees, creating a soft harmony that soothes your mind. Imagine dipping your fingers into the stream, feeling the refreshing touch of water that has traveled from distant springs high in the mountains. This same water once fell as rain upon forest canopies, once drifted across the ocean, once froze in the heart of glaciers. Forests are part of this endless journey, receiving, filtering, and returning water to the world in cycles older than memory. As you sit beside this imagined stream, allow your breath to sync with the gentle rhythm of the water. With each inhale, picture the forest filling your lungs with calm. With each exhale, imagine releasing anything heavy or hurried. the world softens, the air grows quiet, and you find yourself deeply present, wrapped in green stillness. Eventually, the stream continues onward, and so do you. But the forest remains within you, settling into your thoughts like a steady, quiet companion. Its breath becomes your breath. Its calm becomes your calm. Its patience becomes a gentle reminder that life does not need to be rushed, that even in moments of stillness, growth continues. 3. The whispering deserts. Imagine now the soft transition from the cool, breathing forests into a world shaped not by leaves and shade, but by open sky and endless horizon. As you drift forward in your thoughts, the air grows warmer, the colors grow softer, and the land stretches outward in smooth, golden waves. This is the desert, a place that at first seems empty, silent, and still, yet holds within it a quiet complexity that rivals any lush forest or towering mountain. Tonight, we walk into this vast landscape of sand, stone, and shimmering heat, letting its slow, ancient rhythms guide us deeper into calm. The desert is shaped not by abundance but by scarcity, and yet it thrives in ways that feel almost miraculous. When you picture it, you may imagine sand dunes rising like frozen waves, each curve softened by the wind's gentle hand. These dunes are not fixed. They shift across the desert floor with the patience of centuries, moving grain by grain. The wind picks up tiny particles of sand, lifts them for a moment, and sets them down again in new patterns. Over time, these movements create ridges, peaks, and slopes that seem sculpted by an unseen artist. If you listen carefully in your imagination, you may hear the faint whisper of sand sliding along sand, a soft sound that feels like nature breathing in slow motion. As you walk through this imagined desert, the sky stretches above you in a wide, unbroken expanse. Its blue seems deeper here, as though the air is thinner and the heavens closer. Clouds drift with a kind of lazy elegance, their shadows gliding across the sand like silent animals on a slow migration. The sun hangs above, warm and steady, but not oppressive in this nighttime journey. Instead, it offers a gentle glow that illuminates the desert's subtle textures, the tiny ripples left by wind, the faint tracks of creatures that walked by earlier, the delicate patterns etched by time. Deserts are often thought of as lifeless, but they are anything but empty. Life here simply hides in plain sight, pacing itself with the rhythm of heat and night. As you continue drifting through this landscape, imagine small lizards darting across warm stones, their bodies blending into the sand. Beetles leave fine trails, walking with deliberate slowness. Birds wheel overhead, their wings catching warm currents of rising air. Even plants, sparse and resilient, take root in places where moisture hides deep below the surface. Each life form in the desert carries within it a story of adaptation, a reminder that survival often comes from patience and stillness rather than speed. The ground beneath your feet feels warm, almost comforting, as if it retains the memory of the sun long after it has set. Each step sinks gently into the sand, leaving behind a soft imprint that soon smooths itself back into the desert's quiet patterns. In some places, the sand glows faintly under the moonlight, creating a silvery sheen that makes the dunes look like waves on a calm ocean. In fact, deserts were once oceans long ago. The sand beneath you may have been part of ancient sea floors, crushed and worn by tides before rising into the sunlight. When you walk here, you are walking on the remnants of worlds that vanished millions of years ago. Imagine climbing one of the tall dunes now, feeling the sand shift slightly beneath your feet. The climb is soft, slow, and rhythmic. The higher you go, the more the horizon expands, revealing the desert stretching outward in all directions. At the top, the view feels endless. The dunes unfurl like a golden tapestry, each one shaped by the same wind but carrying its own unique curves. In the distance, the land transitions into flat salt pans, their surfaces shining like white mirrors. These ancient plains were once lakes that evaporated under relentless sunlight, leaving behind quiet layers of crystallized minerals. They gleam softly under the sky, reflecting light like polished stone. With every breath you take in this imagined desert, the air feels dry but clean, free of the heaviness that sometimes hangs in humid forests or coastal winds. The dryness has a way of sharpening scents, the faint resin of desert shrubs, the dusty sweetness of warm sand, the subtle mineral tang carried by passing breezes. These scents drift through the air like reminders of the land's resilience, whispering stories of plants that can survive months, even years, between rains. Water, when it comes, transforms the desert more dramatically than almost anywhere else on Earth. A single rainfall can wake sleeping seeds that have waited in the sand for decades. Within hours, flowers bloom in colors so vivid they seem impossible against the muted desert tones. These blossoms turn the landscape into a fleeting garden, a momentary celebration of life that appears without warning and vanishes just as quickly. As you imagine this change, picture tiny petals opening under a shy sun, each one drinking in the precious moisture while it lasts. And when the water recedes, the seeds will settle back into dormancy, waiting patiently for the next chance to bloom. As you wander deeper into the desert, the light begins to shift. Day gives way to twilight, and the air cools with surprising speed. The vast sky blushes in shades of pale gold, rose, and violet, blending into a quiet gradient that feels almost dreamlike. When the sun finally slips below the horizon, the temperature drops gently, wrapping the land in a soft, nocturnal chill. The desert night brings a different kind of magic. Stars emerge with clarity rarely seen in other places, their light unobstructed by moisture or clouds. The sky becomes a tapestry of shimmering points, each one steady and sharp, as though the universe itself leans a little closer to the earth here. The desert night also awakens creatures that rest during the heat of the day. Owls glide between silhouettes of rocks and scrub. Foxes emerge from hidden burrows, moving with fluid quietness. Moths flutter around pale desert flowers that open only in the cool hours. The landscape, which seemed still in daylight, becomes subtly alive under the moon. These nocturnal rhythms remind us that the desert is not empty but simply paced differently, slower, more deliberate, more intimately attuned to temperature and light. As you rest in this imagined desert, feel the gentle warmth of the sand beneath you, cooled only slightly by the night air. Feel the calm of the sky above, stretching into infinity. There is a peacefulness here, a sense of openness that makes your thoughts slow down and your heartbeat soften. The desert teaches us that silence is not emptiness, and stillness is not a void. Instead, they are spaces where clarity can bloom, where the mind can breathe, where the world reveals its intricate details, one quiet moment at a time. Let your thoughts drift like grains of sand carried by a gentle breeze. Allow them to settle where they will, without effort, without force. The desert holds you in its quiet embrace, reminding you that even the simplest landscapes can carry deep wonder. This place, with its shifting dunes, resilient life, and infinite sky, is a testament to the beauty that thrives in simplicity. 4. The cascading waterfalls. Imagine now that you are leaving behind the warm sands of the desert, stepping gently toward a landscape shaped not by wind and dryness, but by movement, sound, and the soft persistence of flowing water. As you drift deeper into this journey, the air around you begins to cool, carrying with it a faint shimmer of moisture. The land grows greener, the horizon grows softer, and the quiet hum of distant water rises like a gentle call. You are approaching the waterfalls, those luminous curtains of motion that tumble endlessly from cliffs and ridges, their voices echoing through valleys with a rhythm that feels both ancient and soothing. Tonight, we wander toward them in slow, peaceful steps, letting the sound and sight of falling water guide us deeper into calm. As you approach your first imagined waterfall, the world changes around you. The air is cooler here, touched by droplets so fine they seem like mist woven into the breeze. Sunlight filters through the canopy above, refracted by the tiny beads of water drifting through the air. These droplets catch the light like suspended crystals, creating soft rainbows that shimmer beneath the leaves. Every step brings a gentle crunch of damp earth underfoot, mixed with the scent of moss, wet stone, and the faint sweetness of flowering plants that thrive in the moisture-rich air. It feels as though the entire landscape is breathing, inhaling slowly through the movement of water. Waterfalls begin as rivers, streams, or melting snow high in the mountains. They gather in channels carved over centuries, flowing with patient persistence until they reach the edge of a cliff. There, gravity takes hold, transforming quiet water into motion, into sound, into falling light. A waterfall is a river in freefall, a moment where water leaves the earth, only to return seconds later in a soft rush of foam. As you stand near the base of the falls, the ground trembles faintly with the weight of that descent. It is not an alarming vibration, but a comforting one, like the steady pulse of a living world. Imagine watching the water as it arcs over the edge. For a moment, each droplet seems suspended, gleaming with sunlight like a string of liquid pearls. Then, with a gentle acceleration, it joins the downward cascade, merging into a smooth sheet that crashes into the pool below. The sound is soothing, rhythmic, hypnotic, a deep white noise that can quiet even the busiest thoughts. It is the sound of movement and stillness all at once. As you listen, your mind begins to soften, drifting into the same timeless flow as the water itself. Falling water shapes the world in ways both subtle and profound. Over years, centuries, and millennia, waterfalls carve the stone beneath them, deepening the pool at their base, one grain at a time. The water carries tiny particles of sediment, and with each descent, it sculpts the rocks like an artist, working with infinite patience. Some waterfalls retreat slowly upstream as they erode the land, moving inch by inch with the rhythm of time. Others widen, splitting into multiple streams that weave through the air in graceful arcs. Some fall boldly in a single powerful sheet. Others descend in gentle tiers, stepping down over terraces of stone, like a quiet staircase made by nature itself. As you imagine walking closer, feel the cool mist touch your skin. It settles softly, refreshing and light, carrying within it the memory of distant mountains where the water began its journey. The droplets cling to your hair, your eyelashes, your fingertips, and each one feels like a tiny moment of connection to the wider earth. The waterfall is not separate from you. Its mist becomes part of your breath, part of your skin, part of the space around you. It reminds you that water moves through everything: sky, earth, rivers, plants, animals, and the quiet chambers of your own body. Imagine now climbing a gentle path that leads to the top of the waterfall. Each step brings you closer to the source of the sound, until at last you stand at the precipice. The water flows past your feet in a smooth, steady current before it reaches the edge and slips away. Here, the sound of the falls is different, less thunderous, more like a soft, continuous sigh. The view from this height extends far into the distance. You see the river winding through forests and meadows, catching the light in silvery ribbons. You see birds dipping low to skim the surface of the water, their wings sparkling with droplets. The landscape feels open, gentle, and alive. as if the whole world is quietly moving with the flow of the river. At the top of the falls, the water seems calm, unaware of the descent ahead. It glides across smooth stone, shallow and clear enough to reveal pebbles beneath the surface. This is the moment of transformation, the place where stillness becomes motion, where calm becomes energy. Yet even this transformation feels peaceful. The water does not resist. It simply follows gravity with trust, letting itself fall, knowing that it will continue its journey in the pool below. There is a lesson in this quiet surrender, a reminder that letting go can be gentle, not frightening, when part of a natural flow. As you imagine walking back down the trail, you may pass smaller waterfalls hidden between trees, tiny cascades that dance over mossy stones, creating delicate threads of sound. These are the whispers of the forest, miniature falls that feed streams and nourish, plants that grow along the banks. Each tiny cascade is part of a larger network, a quiet reminder that even small movements of water can shape the world around them. The forest floor is rich with moisture, supporting ferns, mushrooms, and flowers that would not exist without the constant breath of the waterfall. As you pause by one of these smaller cascades, imagine dipping your hand into the cool stream. The water flows gently around your fingers, light and refreshing. It carries with it minerals from stone, nutrients from soil, and the clarity of mountain springs. This water may one day join the waterfall again, or it may travel far across the land, merging with rivers, lakes, and oceans before returning to the sky. The cycle continues endlessly: evaporation, condensation, rainfall, flow, descent, and rise again. In each stage, the water is transformed, yet always remains itself. There is comfort in this continuity, a reminder that transformation is part of life's rhythm. As the imagined day slips into evening, the sound of the waterfall grows even more soothing. The light softens, turning the falling water into a sheet of molten gold. As the sun dips lower, the water begins to glow with shades of pink, amber, and silver. Mist rises in slow waves, drifting through beams of fading light like a quiet, shimmering veil. The surrounding forest grows still, settling into the calm of approaching night. The waterfall continues, unchanged, steady and gentle, its voice becoming a lullaby for the twilight. Standing here, listening to the endless descent of water, you feel your breath deepen, your shoulders soften, and your thoughts drift into slow, quiet movements. The waterfall reminds you of the power in repetition, the beauty in persistence, and the peace that comes from simply allowing things to flow. It is a place where the mind can rest, carried by the rhythm of falling water, free from the weight of urgency. Allow this calm to wrap around you like cool mist. Let the waterfall's steady pulse guide your own breathing. 5. The hidden caves. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the shimmering waterfalls, leaving behind their bright cascades, and drifting slowly toward a world where light thins, where sound softens, and where the earth opens itself in quiet, secret chambers beneath your feet. The air grows cooler as you walk, the ground firmer, the breeze gentler. Before you lies the entrance to a cave, dark, ancient, and still. It yawns like a doorway into the planet's deep memory, inviting you to step inside not with haste, but with curiosity and calm. Tonight, we wander into these hidden caves, letting their shadows hold us gently as we drift deeper into their soft, echoing quiet. As you approach the cave's entrance in your imagination, the temperature shifts noticeably. The warmth of the outside world fades, replaced by a coolness that feels soothing against your skin. The air carries the scent of stone damp, mineral-rich, and faintly metallic. It is the smell of time itself, of countless seasons passing overhead, of rainwater seeping slowly through layers of rock. The mouth of the cave is framed by ferns and moss, plants that thrive in the filtered light. They sway slightly in the breeze, as though acknowledging your arrival. When you take your first step inside, the crunch of gravel beneath your feet echoes softly, repeating your presence in gentle, fading rhythms. Caves form in many ways, each shaped by slow, persistent processes that unfold far beneath the pace of human life. Some are carved by ancient rivers flowing underground, dissolving the stone grain by grain. Others are volcanic tubes, left behind by molten rock that once rushed through the Earth's hidden arteries. Some caves open after the ceilings of hollow spaces collapse, revealing chambers that had been sealed in darkness for ages. No matter how they come to be, caves remind us that the planet is not solid through and through, but full of hollows, layers, passages, and quiet breaths of space. As you move deeper into the cave, your eyes adjust gradually to the dimness. Light from the entrance fades into soft dusk, and the interior begins to glow with its own gentle hues, grays, silvers, and muted blues. The walls around you are smooth in some places, jagged in others, each section holding the story of how water once shaped it. Patterns of mineral deposits stretch across the stone like pale brushstrokes. Some surfaces are rippled, resembling waves frozen in place. Others are polished by centuries of flowing air or dripping water. Every shape you touch feels cool, ancient, and patient, as though the cave itself has all the time in the world. Eventually, you come to a chamber where the ceiling rises high above you. Stalactites hang from it like delicate icicles, each one formed from the slow drip of mineral-rich water. Every drop leaves behind a microscopic layer of calcite, adding height to the formation year after year. Directly beneath each stalactite, a matching stalagmite rises from the floor, reaching upward as though trying to meet its counterpart. Some have already joined, forming slender columns that stretch from floor to ceiling. These formations grow at a pace so slow that a single inch may take centuries to form. Standing among them feels like standing inside time made visible, observing the quiet choreography of water and stone. If you listen carefully, you may hear the faint drip of water falling from the cave's ceiling. Each drop lands with a soft sound, echoing gently through the chamber. This rhythm, slow and unhurried, becomes the heartbeat of the cave. It echoes through your thoughts, guiding your breath into quieter, deeper patterns. The cave is not silent, but its sounds are subtle whispers rather than voices, murmurs rather than calls. Air moves softly through tight passages, creating delicate breezes that brush against your skin. In some corners, you may hear the faint rustle of bats resting high above, their wings folded in sleep. But even these movements feel part of the stillness, contributing to the cave's serene atmosphere rather than disturbing it. As you continue deeper, imagine the light from your mind illuminating small pools of clear water. These subterranean pools reflect the shapes above them with mirror-like clarity. The water is so still that the reflection looks like an unbroken extension of the cave, creating the illusion of infinite space. These pools may have existed for thousands of years, untouched and undisturbed, holding within them minerals and microscopic life forms that rely on complete darkness to survive. When you kneel beside one and peer into its depths, you see only calmness, no movement, no ripple, no disturbance. It is a perfect moment of quiet stillness, as if the cave is holding its breath. Deeper still, the cave grows darker, and the air becomes even cooler. But fear does not follow you here. Instead, the darkness feels like a soft blanket, comforting and steady. Without the usual distractions of the outside world, your senses adjust, becoming aware of subtle textures, faint sounds, and gentle shifts in temperature. In this deep silence, your thoughts slow, matching the cave's own ancient rhythm. You feel the calm of the earth surrounding you, supporting you, cradling you in its quiet embrace. Caves also hold fossils, slight impressions of plants, shells, or ancient creatures pressed into stone long ago. These fossils are like echoes of a world that once existed above the cave, before the landscape shifted and changed. A leaf that drifted into a shallow pool millions of years ago may have left behind its delicate pattern, now immortalized in rock. A shell from an ancient sea may rest here, far from the coast where it once lived. These remnants remind you that the earth is always changing, reshaping itself across time, and that each layer of stone holds a chapter of this ongoing story. As you walk further, imagine entering a cavern so large that your presence barely registers within its vastness. The ceiling arches high overhead, disappearing into shadow. The floor spreads out in gentle undulations, dotted with stalagmites and glittering mineral formations. When you speak, or even breathe, the sound expands into the chamber, returning to you in faint, distant echoes. This vastness, combined with the darkness, invites a profound sense of humility. You are small here, but in a peaceful way. The cave reminds you that the world has depths far beyond what we see on the surface, and that quiet places exist even in the heart of solid stone. Some caves house underground rivers, streams that flow in complete darkness, carving their own paths through the rock. Imagine walking beside one now, hearing its soft rush as it winds through tight corridors. The sound of the water is soothing, a muted version of the waterfalls you visited earlier. It reflects faint glimmers of imagined light, creating tiny sparkles that dance across the walls. These rivers eventually emerge back into the sunlight, feeding lakes and valleys above ground. Though hidden, they contribute to the world in ways unseen, much like the quiet actions of small kindnesses in daily life. After wandering through these chambers, imagine slowly making your way back toward the cave's entrance. The air begins to warm slightly. A faint glow appears ahead, growing brighter with each step. When you finally emerge into the open world, the light feels soft and welcome, like the radiant warmth of dawn after a long night of peaceful rest. You carry with you the silence of the cave, the stillness of its air, the deep patience of its stones. As you stand outside, breathing again the fresh open air, you realize that the cave has become part of your inner quiet. Its ancient calm lingers in your thoughts, settling in your mind like a gentle echo. You feel grounded, steady, and serene, as though you have touched the slow heartbeat of the earth itself. 6. The living coral reefs. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the cool, echoing stillness of the caves, emerging once more into open air and soft sunlight. The world around you begins to change. The land grows warmer, the wind carries a hint of salt, and the scent of distant waves drifts across your thoughts like a gentle, familiar memory. You are walking toward the ocean, the vast, breathing edge of the planet, where water meets sky. Tonight, we drift beneath its surface into the coral reefs, those vibrant underwater worlds that shimmer with life and color, delicate yet powerful, ancient yet constantly renewing themselves in quiet rhythms beneath the waves. As you approach the shoreline in your imagination, picture the water stretching out in an endless sweep of blues. The surface ripples softly, touched by the breeze, reflecting the shifting patterns of clouds above. Waves lap gently against the sand, creating a soothing, rhythmic hush that echoes through your body like a slow heartbeat. The warmth of the sun reaches your skin, and the sound of the ocean invites you to breathe deeply, allowing the air to fill your chest with calm. Each inhale brings with it the scent of salt and seaweed, each exhale carrying away whatever weight you're ready to release. Imagine stepping into the water now. It envelopes your feet with a cool, refreshing embrace, swirling softly around your ankles. As you move deeper, the sounds of the world above soften. The water lifts you, supports you, cradles you, When you finally dip beneath the surface, the entire world transforms. The colors shift, the sound becomes muted, and everything slows into a dreamy, fluid calm. Light from above filters down in shimmering ribbons, dancing across the sand below in gentle, wavering patterns. The rhythm of your breath grows steady, the movement of your body becomes weightless, and you feel as though you are drifting through another realm entirely one, shaped by water, light, and life. The coral reef appears before you like an underwater garden painted with the colors of dreams. Branching corals rise like miniature forests, some shaped like antlers, others like delicate fans, and still others like boulders dotted with tiny openings. Their colors range from warm golds to deep purples, from bright pinks to glowing greens. Fish weave between the branches in graceful schools, each movement synchronized with silent precision. Their scales catch the sunlight in flashes of sapphire, emerald, and silver. Some swim alone, tracing gentle arcs in the water. Others gather in swirling clouds of bright color, moving as a single fluid organism. Coral reefs may seem like mere clusters of stone, but each coral is alive, an intricate colony of tiny organisms called polyps. These polyps build their homes one microscopic layer at a time, forming the limestone structures that support the entire ecosystem. Their work is steady, patient, and almost invisible, yet the results form some of the most complex habitats on Earth. Imagine drifting closer, seeing the small, delicate polyps extending their tiny tentacles into the water. They wave gently in the current, capturing nutrients carried from distant places. Their rhythm is soft and constant, like the pulse of the ocean itself. Reefs are often called the rainforests of the sea, not because they share the same soil or climate, but because they hold a similar abundance of life. Every crevice, every shadow, every sunlit corner holds creatures adapted perfectly to their surroundings. Tiny shrimp clean the scales of visiting fish, nibbling away debris with meticulous precision. Sea anemones sway in the current, their tentacles glowing with iridescent colors. Crabs scuttle along the sandy floor, leaving delicate trails. Even the quiet shapes of sea cucumbers and starfish add to the gentle harmony of movements unfolding all around you. Imagine drifting slowly above the reef. The water feels warm against your skin. The light glows softly around you, and your body feels almost weightless. Schools of small fish dart around you without fear, their curiosity gentle and unhurried. Larger fish glide by with calm, powerful motions, their fins moving with the grace of birds gliding through still air. Perhaps a sea turtle swims past, its flippers sweeping through the water in slow, deliberate strokes. It moves with an ancient wisdom, following currents that its ancestors have known for countless generations. The reef is not only a place of color and movement, it is a place of sound, too. Though muted by the water, you can hear soft crackles, clicks, and murmurs. Tiny creatures communicate with one another in ways almost imperceptible to human ears, creating an underwater chorus that hums with life. These sounds blend into a soothing, ever-present backdrop that settles into your thoughts like a calming lullaby. The ocean may seem silent from above, but beneath its surface, life vibrates with gentle energy. As you drift deeper into the reef, you may see coral structures that rise like spirals, others that look like massive domes, and still others that stretch into delicate lace-like forms. Each shape is the result of millions of polyps living, growing, and building together in perfect coordination. The slow accumulation of their tiny skeletons forms mountains of limestone, some taller than buildings, some stretching for miles across the ocean. These structures grow at a pace that mirrors the patience of the mountains you visited earlier, an inch or two per year, shaped by persistence rather than speed. Sunlight plays a crucial role in the reef's life. It filters down in shimmering layers, illuminating the corals and feeding the algae that live within their tissues. These microscopic algae provide energy for the coral polyps, giving them both food and their brilliant colors. In exchange, the corals provide shelter and nutrients. This partnership, quiet and delicate, fuels the entire ecosystem. It reminds you that cooperation, whether between organisms, landscapes, or moments, can create wonders far greater than any single effort. Beneath the reef, the ocean floor holds secret gardens where seagrass sways in gentle currents. These meadows provide food and shelter for creatures that wander in and out of the reef. Rays glide across the sand like silent shadows, their wings stirring tiny clouds of sediment. They move with effortless grace, their bodies blending with the seafloor as if they were sculpted from the water itself. Small fish hide among the blades of seagrass, peeking out with wide, curious eyes. Drifting back toward the bright corals, imagine running your hand softly through the water, feeling its warmth and buoyancy. The reef wraps around you in a peaceful, living quietness that settles your mind into the same steady rhythm as the tide. The longer you remain here in your thoughts, the more you realize that coral reefs are not just habitats, they are heartbeats within the ocean's vast body, pulsing with color, motion, and gentle balance. In some places, the coral heads rise so close to the surface that waves brush across their tips, creating soft, rhythmic patterns. In others, the reef drops off suddenly into deeper waters, where the world becomes darker and more mysterious. As you float near one of these drop-offs, imagine peering down into the blue beneath you. Layers of color fade gradually into darker shades, like curtains pulled slowly closed. This deep blue feels peaceful rather than frightening, calm, expansive, and timeless. It is the ocean inviting you to rest within its endless space. As you slowly make your way back toward the imagined shore, the reef shifts behind you like a fading dream. The water grows shallower, the colors lighten, and the sounds soften. When you finally rise above the surface, the sunlight greets you warmly, and the sound of gentle waves returns with a soothing familiarity. You step onto the sand, feeling the grains cling lightly to your feet, and you carry with you the calm, luminous memory of the underwater world. The coral reef remains in your thoughts like a soft glow, a reminder of the quiet cooperation and delicate beauty that thrives beneath the waves. Its rhythms continue to echo within you, steady and gentle, even as you return to the world above. 7. The fire-born volcanoes. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the gentle sway of the underwater reefs, letting the soft blue world drift quietly behind you. As you rise toward the surface of your thoughts, the water becomes warm, the sunlight brightens, and the sound of waves fades into a distant hush. You walk once more upon solid ground, feeling the world beneath your feet return to its familiar steadiness. But the earth is never entirely still. Beneath its calm surfaces lies a restless heart, hot, glowing, and constantly reshaping the land in ways invisible to daily life. Tonight, we drift toward the volcanoes, those fiery mountains born from the planet's deep interior. They rise with ancient power, yet their presence carries a strange serenity, a reminder that creation and destruction often move hand in hand, shaping the world in quiet, inevitable cycles. As you approach a volcanic landscape in your imagination, the air changes subtly. It feels warmer, infused with minerals carried on faintly rising currents. The ground beneath your feet grows dark, textured, shaped by old lava flows that cooled into ripples and ridges. These patterns, etched into stone, look almost like frozen waves of the ocean you left behind, as if fire had briefly borrowed the movement of water before returning it to the sea. The rocks are rich in color, deep blacks, rusty reds, and shimmering hints of metallic gold. Each one holds the memory of molten beginnings, a quiet reminder that even the most solid surfaces can begin as liquid fire. As you walk further, the landscape opens into vast fields of hardened lava. Some areas are smooth and glassy, reflecting the light like ancient black mirrors. Others are rough and jagged, broken into angular fragments known as aya, formed when lava cooled quickly while still in motion. These formations stretch across the land like the remnants of a massive, slow-moving river, stopped mid-breath. Every crack and crease tells a story of movement of heat rising, of gases escaping, of molten rock folding upon itself in a dance that lasted only a moment but left behind shapes that endure for centuries. Ahead of you rises the volcano itself, a great mountain built layer by layer from past eruptions. Its slopes curve gently in some places, steeply in others, depending on the nature of the lava that formed it. Shield volcanoes spread wide and broad, built from fluid lava that once flowed like glowing rivers. Stratovolcanoes rise tall and dramatic, their slopes formed from alternating layers of ash, rock, and thicker lava. Whatever its shape, the volcano holds an undeniable presence, a slow, deep pulse that seems to echo from within the Earth's interior. Imagine climbing this mountain now, not with urgency, but with soft, mindful steps. The path winds upward through fields of volcanic ash, each particle fine as powder, formed from ancient eruptions that once filled the sky with darkness. The ash is cool beneath your feet now, its fiery past long gone. As you move upward, small, hardy plants appear, their roots anchored in soil enriched by volcanic minerals. Over time, volcanoes create some of the most fertile ground on Earth, giving rise to lush forests, vibrant flowers, and thriving ecosystems. What was once destruction becomes nourishment. What was once fire becomes life. As you ascend, warm air rises from vents hidden among the rocks. These fumaroles breathe steam and gases from deep within the volcano, their wisps curling upward like ghostly tendrils. The steam carries the scent of minerals, sulfur, earth, and the faintest hint of something metallic, reminding you that the ground beneath you is alive with heat. If you listen closely, you may hear faint rumbles beneath the surface, soft tremors that vibrate through the stone. These are not cries of danger, but whispers of movement, signs that the earth is always shifting, always breathing, always evolving. At last, you reach the summit. The air here is crisp and thin, mixing cool breezes with the warmth rising from the crater below. The volcano's caldera stretches out before you, a vast bowl of stone shaped by past eruptions. Some calderas hold lakes of bright turquoise water, colored by dissolved minerals. Others contain fields of smoking vents or solidified lava flows that curl like frozen ribbons. In some, the crater descends into darkness, a deep chamber that hints at the fiery world beneath. Imagine standing at the edge of this crater, watching the landscape shift subtly in the rising heat. If the volcano is active, you may see a faint glow, a deep, pulsing light from molten rock far below. The lava moves like thick, radiant honey, its surface swirling in shades of orange, red, and gold. Though powerful, it flows with a surprising softness, rolling in slow waves that carry the heat of the Earth's mantle. Each bubble that bursts releases a quiet breath of gas, rising into the air with gentle persistence. Volcanoes are reminders of the Earth's inner workings. Beneath the crust lies the mantle, a layer of hot, pressurized rock that behaves like a slow-moving fluid. Tectonic plates drift atop this mantle, shifting gradually over millions of years. When these plates pull apart, collide, or slide above hotspots, magma rises toward the surface. Sometimes the magma cools quietly underground, forming new layers of rock. Other times it breaks through as an eruption, reshaping the landscape in moments. The process may seem violent, yet it is part of a larger cycle, one that continuously renews the earth, creating new land, enriching soil, and releasing minerals that feed life. As you stand here, imagine the view around you. The horizon stretches wide and open. The sky glows softly, painted by the warm light of the setting sun. Clouds drift lazily, tinted with hues of rose and gold. From this height, the world looks peaceful, despite the restless power beneath your feet. You feel a quiet awe, not fear, not excitement, but a deep, reflective calm. The volcano is not merely a mountain. It is a reminder of the planet's long story, written in heat, pressure, and time. When you begin your descent, the air cools again. The path leads you past hardened lava tubes, tunnels carved by molten rivers that once flowed beneath the crusted surface. Some of these tubes are large enough to walk through, their walls smooth and rippled like the sides of an ancient wave. Inside, the air is cool and still, carrying the faint memory of heat long gone. These tubes become quiet passageways where the past feels close, like a breath lingering in the shadows. Further down the slope, life returns in gentle green patterns. Grasses sway in the breeze. Shrubs push through cracks in the rock. Birds perch on blackened branches, singing into the warm air. Even after the most powerful eruptions, nature returns with resilience. Seeds carried by the wind settle into the enriched soil. Rainwater seeps through layers of ash and stone. Bit by bit, life rebuilds itself, creating new ecosystems that flourish with surprising speed. As you reach the base of the volcano, the land feels familiar again. Steady, calm, grounded. You carry with you the warmth of the magma chamber, the glow of molten rock, the quiet power of the Earth's interior. These memories settle into your thoughts like embers, soft, luminous, and soothing. The volcano's gentle lesson remains with you, that creation and destruction are part of the same cycle, that change can be both powerful, patient, and that even the Earth's deepest fires move with a quiet, purposeful rhythm. 8. The silent ocean trenches. Imagine now that you are leaving the warm slopes of the volcano behind, stepping quietly away from the glowing breath of Earth's interior. The ground beneath you softens again, the air cools, and the sky widens overhead with a gentle sweep of blues and pale silvers. You walk toward the coastline once more, but this time, your journey does not linger in the shallow, sunlit reefs. Instead, it carries you far beyond them, past the dancing corals, past the drifting kelp forests, past the twilight zones where sunlight dims into deep blues. Tonight, we drift into one of the most mysterious landscapes on Earth, the ocean trenches. Those vast, silent canyons at the bottom of the sea, where darkness reigns, pressure crushes, and life persists in forms both delicate and extraordinary. As you imagine walking along the shore, the wind carries the scent of salt water, cool and invigorating. Waves roll in with slow, rhythmic whispers, leaving white foam that lingers for a moment before fading back into the sea. Far out on the horizon, the water darkens into richer shades of blue, hinting at depths beyond the reach of the sun. The ocean is a cradle of mysteries, and every step you take closer to it feels like walking toward the edge of a vast, undiscovered world. When you finally step into the water, the coolness wraps around your ankles, then your knees, then your waist. With each breath, the world above becomes quieter, gentler, more distant. Submerge yourself now in your imagination. The surface light shimmers above you, rippling like a liquid sky. Sunbeams descend in long, luminous ladders, illuminating schools of fish that flicker like quicksilver. As you swim deeper, the colors around you begin to change. The greens and golds fade into deep blues, and the warm touch of the sun dissolves into a cool, enveloping calm. The water grows denser, heavier, yet somehow comforting. Your body feels weightless, carried by currents that move like slow, gentle sighs. You drift past the familiar depths of the coral reefs, watching as the last bright colors fade behind you. Here, in the mesopelagic twilight zone, light grows faint and begins to scatter. Creatures with soft, luminous bodies swim in slow spirals, jellyfish that glow with bioluminescent pulses, small fish with lantern-like markings along their sides, and drifting plankton that spark like tiny stars suspended in water. Their glows feel calming, like distant constellations in a dark sky, guiding your imagination deeper. As you continue downward, the water grows colder, the pressure increases, and the world around you shifts toward deeper shades of indigo and black. The twilight zone gives way to the midnight zone, where no sunlight ever reaches. Yet the darkness is not empty. It is filled with gentle flashes and glimmers, creatures lighting themselves from within. Some emit soft, blue light to communicate. Others use dim red glows to detect prey, unseen by most. These bioluminescent signals drift upward like underwater fireflies, swirling slowly through the stillness. Below you stretches the abyssal plain, a vast, flat expanse where the sea floor extends like a dark desert. The pressure here is immense, crushing with a force greater than anything experienced on land. Yet life persists. Strange, tranquil creatures glide across the seafloor, sea cucumbers that move like drifting silk, brittle stars that crawl in slow spirals, and ghostly fish adapted to eternal darkness. Their movements are unhurried, as though time itself flows differently at these depths. But the trenches lie deeper still, cutting into the sea floor like long, dark wounds carved by tectonic plates. Imagine drifting now toward the edge of one of these trenches. The seafloor slopes downward, becoming steeper, darker, more mysterious. The trench opens beneath you like a silent canyon, a place where pressure reaches crushing levels, where temperatures hover near freezing, and where the weight of the ocean above presses with the force of mountains. Yet even here, in conditions more extreme than almost anywhere else on Earth, life persists with quiet resilience. You descend into the trench slowly, gently, as though being lowered into a world where sound itself cannot follow. The darkness here is complete, but bioluminescence flickers like soft constellations. Small creatures drift upward from the depths, tiny shrimp, delicate worms, and strange gelatinous forms whose bodies seem almost transparent. Some fish have enormous eyes to catch scarce light, while others have no eyes at all. Navigating by the faint vibrations of water, their presence feels almost magical, reminders that life can adapt to even the most unforgiving conditions. As you imagine reaching the deeper slopes of the trench, the landscape becomes rugged. Rock outcrops rise like silent sentinels. Sediment settles in slow, gentle layers over centuries. The water is nearly motionless, so still that a single fin movement feels like stirring an ancient dream. This quiet, heavy darkness invites your thoughts to soften, your breathing to slow, your awareness to drift without effort or urgency. You are surrounded by the calmest depths of the Earth's oceans, a place where time seems to hold itself in long, gentle pauses. Though these trenches feel isolated, they are intimately connected to the Earth's great systems. They form where tectonic plates meet, where one plate slides beneath another in slow, powerful motions. As the plate descends back into the mantle, it pulls the seafloor downward, creating immense depressions. These movements fuel volcanic arcs, earthquakes, and even the formation of new land. The trenches are not marks of destruction, but vital parts of the cycles that shape continents and coastlines. They are the deep breaths of the planet's geological rhythm. Imagine now, resting at the bottom of a trench, wrapped in perfect stillness. The faint bioluminescent glows around you drift like lanterns in a quiet underwater night. Even here, in the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, life finds a way simple, graceful, unhurried. This place feels peaceful, not despite its harshness, but because of it. The pressure here is absolute, yet the calm is profound. Nothing moves quickly. Nothing disturbs the silence. It is a world that invites surrender, acceptance, and deep rest. When you begin to rise, imagine ascending slowly, letting the water grow lighter around you with each passing moment. The glowing creatures drift upward until they fade into distant specks. The darkness softens into shades of blue. The pressure eases. Your body grows lighter still, and soon, the shimmer of distant sunlight begins to filter through the water, spreading warmth and visibility. When you finally break the surface, the air greets you like a returning friend, soft, bright, and gently filled with sound. You step onto the shore again, carrying with you the deep calm of the trenches, their silence, their mystery, their quiet persistence. That stillness lingers now in your thoughts, like a peaceful echo that continues long after the descent has ended. 9. The islands born from fire. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the silent, gently crushing depths of the ocean trenches, letting the darkness and bioluminescent glimmers drift softly behind your thoughts. The water grows warmer as you rise. The light expands. The world becomes brighter and more familiar. When you finally emerge at the surface, you find yourself gazing upon a distant horizon dotted with shapes small at first, then growing clearer as you move closer. These shapes are islands, scattered across the ocean like stepping stones placed by the planet itself. Some rise boldly with jagged silhouettes, while others appear soft and low, covered in green. All of them hold stories of creation, stories of fire, water, time, and quiet transformation. As you drift toward one of these islands in your imagination, the water beneath you changes from dark blue to turquoise. Sunlight reveals the sandy seabed below, where coral fragments and shells shimmer like pale jewels beneath the waves. The ocean laps gently against the shore, creating a rhythm that echoes through your chest like a soothing heartbeat. Each wave washes up softly, leaves a lace of foam on the sand, and withdraws again with a quiet sigh. The breeze carries the scent of salt, flowers, and volcanic minerals, an aroma unique to islands, where land and sea breathe together in close harmony. The first island you step onto feels warm beneath your feet. The sand is soft and pale, shaped by years of waves rolling gently over the shore. Inland, the ground rises gradually, covered in grasses, palms, and ferns that sway in the steady breeze. Birds call overhead, their voices carrying across the quiet landscape. You feel the island's youth in its contours, smooth hills formed from lava that has long since cooled, sharp cliffs where ancient flows hardened into stone, and fertile soil rich with nutrients created by volcanic ash. These islands are not static. They grow, erode, transform, and sometimes even sink beneath the waves, only to rise again through the slow movements of the earth. Most oceanic islands begin deep beneath the sea, where hot magma pushes upward through the crust. When this molten rock reaches the bottom of the ocean, it cools and solidifies layer by layer. Each eruption adds new stone, building a mound that slowly rises. Sometimes, the mound breaks the surface, creating a newborn island. Other times, the island remains hidden beneath shallow water, forming reefs or underwater plateaus. But when an island finally emerges into the open air, it carries with it the warmth of its birth, the memory of fire meeting water in a slow, powerful embrace. Imagine climbing gently across this imagined island, letting your steps guide you along a path of dark volcanic rock. These rocks are smooth in some places, rough in others, shaped by ancient eruptions that once flowed across the land like rivers of glowing light. The older rocks are weathered, softened by rain and wind. The newer rocks still hold their sharp edges, etched with textures that resemble frozen flames. Some rocks shine with hints of obsidian black volcanic glass that forms when molten lava cools instantly in contact with water. These fragments reflect the sunlight in shimmering glints, reminding you of the island's fiery origins. As you walk, the elevation gradually increases, and the vegetation becomes denser. Trees adapted to the island's fertile soil rise above you in gentle green arches. Their leaves rustle softly, creating a peaceful whisper that blends with the sound of distant waves. Birds flit between branches. Lizards bask on warm stones. The island, though young in geological time, bursts with life that has found its way here through wind, waves, and chance. Seeds carried by storms have settled into the volcanic soil, sprouting into trees and shrubs that now blanket the slopes in vibrant color. Imagine reaching a higher ridge where you can see the entire island spread out below. From this vantage point, the shoreline curves gracefully around the land. Gentle waves shimmer beneath the sunlight. The ocean stretches beyond, reflecting soft gradients of blue that deepen toward the horizon. The sky seems vast here, as though the openness of the sea expands everything it touches. Even the breeze feels different, cleaner, lighter, infused with the scent of the ocean's endless breath. At the center of the island rises a volcanic peak. It may be quiet now, resting in a long period of calm, but its silhouette holds the memory of past eruptions. You imagine climbing toward it, feeling the ground change beneath your feet. The soil becomes darker, richer, and warmer. Steam may escape from small vents, carrying the faint scent of minerals and heat. The earth here feels awake, not in a threatening way, but in a way that reminds you that the planet's interior is always moving. The volcano is not merely a mountain, it is a doorway between Earth's surface and its glowing heart. If you reach the crater, imagine looking down into a wide, circular basin filled with ash, rock, and the remnants of past eruptions. In some places, rainwater has collected, forming small lakes that gleam with unusual colors: emerald, turquoise, or milky white, depending on the minerals dissolved within. In others, fumaroles rise like thin, ghostly columns of steam. The air is warm, but the breeze cools it, creating a peaceful balance that feels strangely serene for such a powerful landscape. Islands born from fire are constantly reshaped. Some eruptions create new shorelines, extending the island further into the sea. Others carve fresh paths down the slopes, replacing old forests with new rock that will one day support new life. These cycles remind you that creation often comes through transformation, and that every end carries the possibility of a new beginning. Even as lava flows into the ocean, sending up plumes of steam and light, tiny droplets of new land are born from each contact land that will one day host trees, flowers, animals, and perhaps even people. Imagine walking back down the volcanic slope now, heading toward the shoreline where the land meets the sea. Along the way, you pass fields of flowers growing in clusters: bright yellows, soft whites, and deep reds. These plants thrive here because volcanic soil is rich in nutrients released from deep within the earth. What was once molten rock becomes, in time, the foundation for ecosystems bursting with life. The island is a living example of how nature transforms hardship into opportunity, how destruction can become nourishment, and how the planet continuously renews itself through cycles older than memory. At last, you return to the beach. The sand is warm beneath your feet. The waves roll in gently, each one carrying a soft shimmer of light. The island behind you feels both powerful and peaceful, like a place where the world's most intense forces and its gentlest rhythms coexist in harmony. As you stand at the water's edge, the breeze brushes against your skin, and the sound of the ocean settles into your thoughts with a calming, steady pulse. You carry with you the warmth of the island, the quiet memory of its volcanic heart, and the understanding that our world is shaped by forces both fierce and tender. The island's story becomes part of your own calm, a reminder that new landscapes are born even in the midst of fire, and that life will always find its way to grow, heal, and flourish. The dancing auroras. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the warm volcanic islands, leaving behind their black sands, soft breezes, and the quiet heartbeat of fire deep beneath the crust. As you drift onward in your thoughts, the air around you cools, the sunlight softens, the world becomes quieter, as though preparing itself for a different kind of beauty, one shaped not by mountains or oceans or stone, but by the soft brush of solar winds across the sky. Tonight, we journey to the far edges of the earth, where the air grows thin and crisp, where silence settles like snow, and where the night sky awakens with shimmering curtains of light. These are the auroras, the polar lights, the sky's own slow-moving dreams. Imagine now that you are walking across a landscape of frost. The ground beneath your feet crunches softly with each step, the texture delicate and crystalline. The air is cold but gentle, cool enough to sharpen your senses without stirring discomfort. Your breath rises in faint clouds, drifting upward into the starlit air. Overhead, the sky stretches wide and open, a deep canopy of blackness that feels almost infinite. Stars glitter across it in thousands of points, each one clear and bright, unblurred by humidity or city lights. The quiet here is profound, a stillness so complete that you feel your heartbeat deepen, matching the slow, steady rhythm of this frozen land. In the distance, the first faint glow begins to appear at the edge of the horizon. It is subtle at first, a soft pale green, like the memory of light rather than the light itself. It quivers gently, barely visible, as though deciding whether to reveal itself fully. But gradually, with the patience of dawn approaching, it grows brighter. It rises like a veil lifting from the darkness. The glow lengthens into a soft arc, its edges curling delicately, as though painted by a brush made of air. This is the beginning of the aurora. Imagine watching as the arc expands, spreading silently across the sky. The colors deepen. Greens intensify into luminous emeralds. Pinks ripple through the folds like faint blushes of morning light. At times, a streak of violet dances along the edges, vibrating gently like a string plucked in the quiet air. The sky seems to sway, breathing in soft motions that pull you into their rhythm. You feel a stillness settle into your limbs, a peaceful weight that anchors you to the earth, while inviting your thoughts to drift upward into the shimmering expanse. Auroras form when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in the Earth's upper atmosphere. These particles arrive after traveling millions of miles, carried by solar winds that stream outward from the sun's fiery surface. When they finally reach the Earth, they spiral along magnetic field lines toward the poles, where they meet atoms of oxygen and nitrogen in the high atmosphere. Each collision produces light, soft, colorful, and graceful, like glowing footprints drifting across the sky. Green arises from oxygen at lower altitudes, red from oxygen higher up, purples and blues from nitrogen, all of it weaving together in a dance so slow and calm that it feels like the universe is whispering. Imagine now lying back on the cold, snow-covered ground. The chill beneath you is softened by the warmth of your clothing, creating a gentle contrast that heightens the sensation of stillness. Above you, the lights flutter in long, soft waves. They stretch and curl, twist and fade, reappear and brighten. Some moments they ripple like fabric caught in a quiet breeze. Other moments they resemble tall, glowing curtains that sway across the sky in unhurried motion. The auroras do not rush. They unfold like thoughts drifting through a half-dream, calm and fluid, shifting in ways that feel both spontaneous and deeply ancient. As you breathe slowly, the colors begin to reflect faintly on the snow, turning the landscape into a canvas tinted by the sky's own motion. Greens shimmer across the ground like soft watercolor washes. Pale pinks and purples dance at the edges of shadows. The light feels gentle, almost liquid, a living glow that moves without sound. Even the air seems to thrum with a quiet energy, subtle, soothing, like the soft hum of distant music without notes. In some parts of the world, the auroras appear as tall rays, rising straight upward like beams of light carved from neon mist. In others, they curve into arcs that stretch from one horizon to the other, glowing like celestial bridges. Sometimes they flicker in rapid pulses, too quick to follow. Other times they linger, unmoving, suspended in the sky, as though holding their breath. The unpredictability of auroras is part of their calm wonder. They appear when the sky decides. They move in patterns that never repeat. They vanish softly, without fuss or farewell, leaving behind a deeper darkness that feels both serene and sacred. As you continue to watch, imagine the aurora growing brighter, filling the entire sky. It swirls above you like a soft, glowing river. It stretches outward, in waves that rise and fall. The stars shine through the translucent colors, creating a tapestry where celestial lights blend into one another. The universe feels close here, intimate, gentle, wrapped around you like a soft blanket of light and night and silence. The vastness above does not overwhelm, it soothes. The sky becomes a quiet meditation, composed of color, motion, and infinite calm. The cold air around you feels crisp and clean. Each breath is refreshing, clearing your mind, grounding your presence. Yet the sight of the aurora lifts your thoughts into a peaceful drift, as though your awareness floats somewhere between earth and sky. Time feels slower here. Moments lengthen. Your heartbeat softens. The world narrows to just breath, light, and stillness. As the aurora begins to fade, its colors soften into pale wisps. Greens become silver. Pinks melt into gentle grays. The waves of light dissolve like fog under morning sun. Even as they disappear, you feel their calm lingering in the air, settling into your body like the quiet glow that continues long after the colors are gone. The stars return to their full brightness. The night deepens. The landscape feels vast and peaceful once more. Standing slowly, you feel the crunch of snow beneath your feet. The cold air brushes your skin. The sky above remains expansive and clear. You carry with you the memory of the aurora, a memory not of spectacle, but of serenity. The lights were gentle, slow, and gracefully unpredictable, like the quiet conversation between the earth and the sun, spoken through the language of color. As you begin to walk away from this polar night, the aurora's calm settles into your thoughts like a soft afterglow. You feel lighter, more grounded, and quietly aware of the connection between earth, sky, and the silent, drifting beauty that sometimes unfolds above us. 11. The endless grasslands. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the cool, crystalline silence of the polar skies, leaving behind the last faint shimmer of auroral light as it dissolves into the darkness. As you drift onward in your thoughts, the air grows warmer. The horizon expands into a gentle sweep of gold and green. The ground beneath your feet softens, covered in tall grasses that sway with the steady breath of the wind. You have arrived at the grassland's vast, rolling oceans of earthbound waves, stretching outward in every direction like a calm, living sea. These are the prairies, the savannas, the steppes, and the pampas, each shaped by wind, sunlight, and quiet endurance. Imagine standing at the edge of one such grassland, the sky spreading above you like a wide, open canvas. The air carries the warm scent of sunlit plants, dry soil, and faint floral notes from wildflowers scattered between the grasses. The landscape feels both endless and close, intimate in its simplicity yet grand in its scale. The grasses move with the gentlest breeze, creating ripples that sweep across the land like soft whispers. There is no rush here, no sharp sound or sudden motion, only the slow, rhythmic swaying that mirrors the calm of your breath. Begin to walk forward in your imagination. With each step, the grass parts around your legs, brushing softly against your skin. Its texture is light and tickling, like delicate threads drifting along the surface of your body. Some blades are tall and golden, bending with the slightest touch. Others are green and slender, rising in clusters that rustle together with a sound reminiscent of paper turning slowly in the wind. The motion of the grass forms waves that travel outward across the plains, rolling gently toward the horizon in a rhythm as steady as the tide. The grasslands are shaped by balance, rain and sun, growth and dryness, fire and renewal. Rainfall here is never constant, but it comes with purpose. When storms roll over the plains, their clouds darken the sky in sweeping arcs, releasing curtains of water that nourish the deep roots of the grass. The soil drinks slowly, storing moisture deep beneath the surface, where the roots can reach it even in times of drought. And when the storms pass, the sky clears into brilliant blue, sunlight spilling across the land in warm, golden waves that shimmer on each blade of grass. Imagine the quiet presence of animals moving across this landscape. In the distance, herds wander with a graceful, calm bison, antelope, zebra, wild horses, each species adapted to this open world. Their motion is slow, steady, and unhurried, blending into the rhythm of the plains. Birds circle overhead, gliding on warm air currents. Their shadows drift across the grass like passing thoughts. Smaller creatures rustle beneath the grasses, hidden but present: foxes, hares, field mice, and countless insects that hum and buzz with gentle persistence. Every sound here is soft, woven into the larger quiet of the land. The grasslands may seem simple at first glance, but they hold astonishing diversity. Beneath the surface lies a world of roots, vast networks that stretch deep into the soil, binding the earth together and storing life through the harshest seasons. These roots are the heart of the plains. They anchor the grasses, protect the soil from erosion, and create one of the richest underground ecosystems in the world. Even in winter, when the surface appears barren and silent, the roots wait in patient stillness, ready to send up new shoots when warmth returns. As you continue walking, imagine the sky shifting above you. The grasslands are places of wide horizons, where the sky seems to touch the earth. Clouds move in long, smooth formations, like ships crossing an invisible ocean. Their shadows glide slowly across the plains, cooling the land for a moment before passing onward. When the wind picks up, the grasses lean together in unison, forming sweeping patterns that flow across the land, circles, curves, and soft diagonals that resemble strokes of a giant, invisible brush. The wind itself becomes a presence here. It carries with it the sense of distant rain, blooming flowers, and warm soil. It brushes against your neck and arms like a cool hand, soothing and rhythmic. Sometimes it grows stronger, creating a low hum that travels across the plains. Other times, it stops altogether, and the land becomes utterly still, as though holding its breath. In this stillness, you hear the faint buzz of insects, the quiet chirp of birds hidden among the grasses, and the almost imperceptible sound of your own breathing. Imagine now finding a small rise in the land, a gentle hill formed by ancient movements of soil and time. You climb it slowly, feeling the grasses brush against your legs with each step. At the top, you pause. The view stretches outward in every direction, a panorama of gentle movement and soft color. The grasses shift in waves that seem to travel endlessly, meeting the horizon where the sky dips into soft blues and pale golds. The openness brings a sense of freedom, but also a deep calm, as though the land itself invites you to let your thoughts expand and settle without effort. Grasslands often experience fires, natural, cleansing events sparked by lightning or dryness. These fires move quickly, consuming old growth and clearing space for new life. The grasses have adapted to this cycle, their roots protected underground, while the flames pass overhead. After a fire, the land begins to sprout with fresh, tender shoots, greener than before. It is a reminder that renewal often follows disruption, and that endings can carry the quiet seeds of beginnings. As the imagined day drifts toward evening, the light across the grasslands transforms. The sun lowers toward the horizon, casting long shadows that stretch like soft fingers across the plains. The grasses glow in warm hues: gold, amber, copper, each blade illuminated with a gentle radiance. The sky above deepens into soft pinks and purples. The wind settles into a calm hush. It feels as though the grasslands themselves are preparing for rest, their movements slowing, their colors softening, their rhythms quieting. Imagine sitting on the gentle slope of the hill now. The grasses sway around you like a calm ocean, brushing lightly against your skin. The warmth of the day lingers in the soil beneath you, mixing with the cool touch of the approaching night. The sky darkens into a rich gradient. Stars begin to appear slowly at first, then in growing clusters, sparkling above the endless expanse of land. The night air feels comforting, cool and still, wrapping you in a gentle embrace. The grasslands, though simple in their shapes and textures, carry a rare kind of peace. Their wide spaces invite calm. Their gentle motions soothe the mind. Their cycles of growth and renewal mirror the rhythms of breath and rest. As you sit here in your imagination, surrounded by the quiet sway of grasses under a starlit sky, you feel a deep sense of grounding, a connection to the earth that is soft, steady, and reassuring. Eventually, you rise and begin walking again, the grasses parting gently around your feet. The night deepens, the stars brighten, and the land stretches endlessly before you. You carry with you the calm of this vast, open world, the quiet reassurance that even the simplest landscapes hold profound beauty, and that stillness can be as powerful as movement. 12. The gentle wetlands. Imagine, now that you are stepping away from the wide open grasslands, letting their golden waves fade softly behind you. The wind grows lighter, the horizon lowers, and the land beneath your feet begins to soften. The air thickens slightly with moisture. The scent of water, fresh, earthy, and calm, drifts toward you like a quiet greeting. You are approaching the wetlands, those shimmering, half-land, half-water worlds, where everything moves in slow, fluid harmony. Tonight, we drift into this gentle mosaic of marshes, swamps, estuaries, and hidden pools, letting their soft currents guide us deeper into peaceful stillness. As you imagine stepping foot into a wetland, the ground welcomes you with a quiet give, neither firm nor unstable, but a tender cushion shaped by centuries of water and soil embracing each other. The grasses here are different, thicker, greener, and more supple, rising out of shallow water with graceful arcs. Their stalks sway with a sensitivity that feels almost intentional, responding to the faintest breeze with ripples of motion that glide across the surface like whispers. Sunlight catches on these grasses, creating narrow veins of brightness that shimmer with each gentle curve. The air carries a cool, refreshing quality that seems to wash over your thoughts. It smells of wet earth, growing plants, and distant rain. It is the scent of renewal, a subtle reminder that wetlands serve as the breathing spaces of the earth, filtering water, nurturing life, and holding the memory of ancient waterways. As you walk slowly, your feet cause gentle ripples in the shallow pools. The water is clear and calm, reflecting pieces of sky, fragments of clouds, and the shifting silhouettes of tall reeds. Imagine crouching beside a pool and watching its surface. Even the smallest movement, a falling leaf, the swirl of an insect, the glide of your own fingertips sends expanding rings outward, each ring one soft decision made by the water. Beneath the surface, the world is alive with subtle movements. Tiny fish flicker like shadows. Insects drift and paddle with delicate legs. Tadpoles swirl in clusters. Everything here moves with softness. No hurried gestures, no sudden flashes, just quiet persistence. Wetlands are shaped by balance, by the slow mingling of land and water. They hold rainfall, river overflow, and tides, storing and releasing water as though they are lungs breathing with the planet's rhythm. Thick layers of organic soil rest beneath the surface, rich, dark, and generous. This soil forms from leaves that fall each season, from plants that grow and decay, from organisms that live brief lives and return to the earth. Each layer deepens with time, building a foundation that nourishes new growth. Wetlands are ancient storytellers, preserving patterns of life in their quiet, submerged history. Imagine now walking deeper into this realm. Trees begin to appear broad, thick-barked guardians that grow directly from the water. Their roots twist like fingers, gripping soft sediment, lifting trunks above the waterline. Some stand tall and straight, while others arch in elegant curves. Spanish moss hangs from branches, like drifting threads of silver green. Sunlight filters through the canopy in swirling patches, landing on the water in golden patterns that shift with every movement of leaf and breeze. Birdsong fills the air here, not loud or piercing, but soft and melodic. Herons stand knee-deep in water, motionless, waiting with patient elegance. Their reflections shimmer on the surface, becoming almost indistinguishable from their bodies. Ducks glide in pairs, leaving delicate wakes behind them. Dragonflies zip across the surface like tiny sparks of iridescent light, their wings catching the sun in fleeting flashes of blue and green. Every creature feels connected to the water, living in rhythms that match the gentle pulse of the wetlands. As you walk, imagine stepping onto a patch of slightly higher ground, where the grasses grow thicker. The soil here is soft and cool beneath your feet. Wildflowers bloom in subtle clusters, pale yellows, soft violets, and delicate whites that sway in harmony with the reeds. Their fragrance is mild but pleasant, a quiet offering from a landscape that seldom seeks attention. You hear the faint hum of insects, the rustle of reeds brushing against one another, and the occasional drip of water falling from a leaf. These sounds layer together into a soft symphony, calming and familiar, like a lullaby whispered by the earth. Wetlands thrive on transitions. They are neither fully land nor fully water, but a blend of both places, where boundaries blur and coexistence flourishes. Day becomes night gently here. Sunlight becomes moonlight without sharp division. Seasons shift with fluidity, bringing migrations of birds, blossoms of new plants, and quiet cycles of emergence and retreat. In the heat of summer, wetlands shimmer with warmth. In cooler seasons, they wrap themselves in mist, creating ghostly scenes where every tree and reed appears softened, blurred, and dreamlike. Imagine now that twilight has begun to settle over the wetlands. The sun lowers beyond the tree line, casting long shadows that stretch across the water. The reeds glow with warm amber light. The sky deepens into soft gradients of lavender and rose. The water mirrors these colors, turning the pools into sheets of pastel light. Fireflies begin to appear, their soft yellow glows flickering in the dim air like wandering stars searching for a place to rest. Their gentle, pulsing light adds magic to the fading day, guiding your thoughts into deeper calm. As darkness takes hold, the sounds change. The birds settle into their nests, Frogs begin their evening songs low, rhythmic notes that echo across the water like a soothing chant. Crickets join in, their steady chirps creating a consistent heartbeat beneath the melody. These nighttime rhythms relax your senses, loosening the edges of your awareness, encouraging your body and mind to let go. The wetlands feel even more serene at night, enveloped in a soft cocoon of shadows and sound. The moon rises, casting pale light across the pools. The reflections become almost perfect mirrors, duplicating the sky above. Trees stand silhouetted, their branches forming graceful patterns against the moonlit water. The air cools, brushing your skin like a gentle hand. Each breath feels deep, steady, and full of quiet. In this moonlit calm, the wetlands seem to exhale slowly, matching your own breath. With their subtle pulse, you feel yourself becoming part of this landscape, part of the slow rhythm, the soft breath, the quiet transitions. The wetlands remind you that stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness expressed gently. It is a place where life thrives without urgency, where balance is maintained through quiet cooperation, where nourishment is shared through both land and water. As you begin to walk again, the grasses part softly around your legs. The moonlight guides your steps. Every sound feels softer, every movement slower, every thought easier. The wetlands stay behind you, but their tranquility walks beside you, settling gently into your mind. 13. The ancient rainforests. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the soft, shimmering stillness of the wetlands, letting the moonlit pools and whispering reeds fade gently behind your thoughts. The air around you begins to grow warmer, heavier, and sweeter. A distant chorus of unfamiliar calls rises in the background, soft at first, then gradually weaving itself into the spaces around you. The ground becomes firmer beneath your feet, covered in layers of leaves that have fallen over centuries. You are walking toward one of the oldest landscapes on Earth, the rainforest, a world dense with life, layered in green and humming with ancient breath. As you enter the rainforest in your imagination, the canopy rises above you like a living ceiling. Its branches interlock in sweeping arcs, filtering the sunlight into soft green tones that fall gently onto the forest floor. The air is warm and damp, carrying the scent of rich soil, petals, bark, and distant rain. Every inhale feels full, as though the forest is offering you its own breath, heavy with moisture and the subtle perfume of growth. Beneath your feet, the ground is cushioned with fallen leaves, soft moss, and tiny roots that weave through the soil like hidden threads. The rainforest embraces you immediately, its sounds unfolding like layers of a quiet orchestra. Birds call in melodic patterns from high in the canopy notes that echo gently across the branches. Insects hum in continuous, delicate vibrations. Somewhere nearby, the soft drip of water falling from a leaf marks the passing of time in slow, irregular intervals. Each sound blends into the next, creating a symphony that feels both lively and soothing, energetic yet strangely calm. As you walk deeper, the vegetation thickens. Trees tower above you, their trunks wide, textured, and covered in lichens, mosses, and creeping vines. Some trees are so old that their roots rise from the ground like archways, twisting and looping in graceful, ancient sculptures. The forest floor is dim, but not dark. Soft beams of filtered sunlight drift downward in narrow columns, illuminating tiny floating particles, dust, pollen, and moisture that sparkle briefly before vanishing into shadow. Each beam feels like a quiet blessing, a reminder of light finding its way through layers of life. The diversity here is astonishing. Rainforests hold more species than any other ecosystem on Earth, yet everything feels balanced, as though each leaf, Each creature, each drop of water, knows its place in the great harmonic structure. In front of you, a butterfly with wings like stained glass flutters past, its slow, deliberate movements echoing the unhurried rhythm of the forest. On a nearby branch, a small tree frog clings with delicate toes, its eyes wide and reflective. It remains perfectly still, as though listening to the forest with an awareness deeper than your own. Imagine brushing your hand lightly against the large leaves beside you. They are smooth, cool, and slightly waxy, built to shed rainfall efficiently. Some leaves are enormous, shaped like gentle fans. Others are narrow, arranged in patterns that catch the faintest breeze. Rainforests receive more rain than almost any other place on Earth. When storms come, they begin with a distant rumble that rolls through the trunks and roots. Then, suddenly, a heavy downpour fills the air, drumming against the canopy, racing down branches, and rushing to the forest floor. But between storms, the forest is wrapped in warm humidity, creating the perfect cradle for growth. As you continue walking, the forest reveals its layers. In the canopy above, birds glide between branches, their bright feathers flickering through sunlight. In the mid-layer, vines curl their way up trunks like slow, thoughtful climbers. Orchids cling to branches in surprising places, blooming with colors that seem almost unreal. Deep purples, soft pinks, and radiant whites. On the forest floor, fungi rise like tiny umbrellas, feeding on fallen wood. Everything grows with purpose, nourished by constant cycles of life, decay, and renewal. The roots beneath your feet tell another part of the story. Intertwined beneath the soil, they form vast networks that exchange nutrients and signals, trees communicating with each other in ways humans are only beginning to understand. Some roots stretch deep, drawing water from hidden reservoirs. Others spread wide to stabilize the towering giants above. This underground world supports the rainforest's immense diversity, creating a silent, steady foundation for life. Imagine now that you pause beside a massive tree, its trunk broad enough to require several people to encircle it. Its bark is layered and ridged, shaped by centuries of growth. When you place your palm against it, the surface feels cool and solid, grounding you in a way that brings your breath into quieter alignment. This tree has witnessed hundreds of seasons, storms, and sunrises. Its leaves have shimmered in morning light for generations. Its roots spread so deeply and widely that it feels as though you are touching a pillar of the earth itself. Being here, beside this ancient life, reminds you of the gentle perseverance found in nature, slow, steady, and deeply patient. As you continue exploring, the forest becomes richer with sound. The call of a distant monkey echoes through the canopy, loud, rhythmic, yet softened by distance. Birds respond in short, melodic bursts. Insects create a constant hum that fills the air like a warm vibration. These sounds overlap, forming an ever-changing soundscape that never feels chaotic. Instead, it feels balanced, like a natural meditation you have stepped into simply by being present. Near a quiet pool of water, the light deepens into soft shadows. Leaves float gently on the surface, spinning slowly with each small ripple. Water droplets fall from overhanging vines, creating circles that expand outward in peaceful rings. Frogs hide beneath the lily pads. Tiny fish dart between the stems. The water's surface reflects a distorted version of the canopy above greens, layered upon greens, angles softened into gentle shapes. You kneel beside the pool, watching its stillness and movement blend into a quiet symphony of calm. Rainforests often hide, their beauty in layers, revealing only small pieces at a time. A flash of bright plumage, a flower blooming in a hidden nook, the sudden movement of a lizard across a vine. This subtlety draws you deeper into the forest's rhythm, encouraging you to slow your mind enough to notice the details. Even the air feels alive here, dense with the breath of millions of plants carrying on the ancient process of turning sunlight into life. As evening approaches in your imagination, the rainforest transforms yet again. The sunlight dims into soft gold, filtering through the leaves in shimmering patches. Shadows lengthen, deepening the greens into richer, darker hues. The air cools slightly, carrying with it the scent of damp wood and fresh rain. Night creatures begin to stir. Fireflies glow faintly among the roots. Moths flutter near flowers that open only in twilight. Frogs and insects create new layers of sound. The forest becomes a quiet, luminous tapestry woven together by countless, gentle movements. Imagine sitting on a fallen log, feeling its soft, moss-covered surface beneath you. The forest hums around you, not urgently, but with the steady breath of a place that has existed for millions of years. You feel small, but not diminished, more like you have been invited into an ancient, living presence that asks nothing from you except quiet attention. Your breath slows, your shoulders soften. The rainforest's calm wraps around you like a warm, green blanket. As night settles deeper, the air becomes still, the forest growing hushed in its own steady way. You rise gently, walking once more through the lush understory. The leaves brush softly against your arms. The damp earth cushions your steps. The sounds recede into distance like fading echoes. You carry with you the rainforest's ancient quiet, its layered calm, its soft, humid breath. 14. The giants of the forest. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the dense, layered breath of the rainforest, carrying with you the soft humidity, the drifting calls of hidden creatures, and the shimmering greens that still linger in your thoughts. As you walk onward, the air grows lighter and drier. The sounds shift from the rainforest's chorus to a quieter, deeper stillness. Soon, the landscape opens into a new kind of forest, not crowded, not tangled, but spacious and serene. Here, the trees rise not merely above you, but far, far into the sky, as though reaching for the quiet edges of the heavens. Tonight, we wander among the giant trees, those towering pillars of time whose trunks hold centuries of memory and whose branches brush the winds of forgotten eras. Imagine now stepping into this forest of giants. The first thing you notice is the scale. Trunks rise before you like massive columns, each one so broad it would take several people joined hand in hand just to embrace a single tree. Their bark is thick, textured, and ancient deep furrows and ridges carved by countless seasons of sun, rain, frost, and growth. The air here is cool and calm, protected by the towering canopy above. Light filters downward in soft beams, illuminating dust motes that dance slowly in the stillness. Each beam feels like a quiet blessing, a gentle reminder of how light slips carefully through spaces shaped by centuries. Your footsteps fall softly on a bed of fallen needles and leaves. The forest floor is springy, rich with centuries of organic layers, pine needles, decaying bark, tiny fragments of cones and branches. These layers create a quiet, natural carpet that absorbs sound, making your movements nearly silent. The stillness around you feels deep and grounding, as though the forest is holding its breath in a kind of meditative peace. Even birdsong here is subtle, softened by the vastness of the trees. The giant trees, redwoods, sequoias, ancient pines, are among the oldest living beings on Earth. Some have stood in these places for thousands of years, long before cities rose, long before written language, long before entire civilizations appeared and vanished. These trees were here, quietly lifting their branches toward the sky. Their age is not something they carry with pride or weight, it simply exists within them, woven into their rings, held in their slow, steady growth. When you stand beside one, You can almost sense time stretching both backward and forward, as though the tree itself serves as a gentle anchor between eras. Imagine walking closer to one of the largest trees. Its trunk rises straight and tall, disappearing into the canopy far above. When you place your hand against its bark, the surface feels cool and deeply textured, each ridge a story carved by time. The tree does not respond in words, yet you feel a steady presence, a calmness that seems to flow from the trunk into your palm. It is the calm of patience, of endurance, of quiet resilience that has lasted through storms, fires, winters, and generations of life passing beneath its branches. The roots of these giant trees spread outward like vast networks, not deeply into the earth but wide across the forest floor. They intertwine with the roots of neighboring trees, creating a woven foundation that supports the entire grove. This interconnectedness allows the trees to share water, nutrients, and subtle chemical signals, forming a community that thrives not in competition, but in quiet cooperation. When one tree experiences stress, the others offer support, sending what is needed through their shared network. Standing among them, you sense this unity, an invisible, silent web beneath your feet. As you wander deeper into the grove, shafts of sunlight shift gently, creating patterns of gold and shadow on the forest floor. The light moves slowly, as though respecting the ancient pace of the trees. You watch it illuminate branches high above branches that are themselves larger than entire trees elsewhere in the world. Moss and ferns cling to these branches, creating miniature forests suspended in the air. Birds move between them like tiny, fluttering sparks of life, their wings catching the sun in flashes of color. In this tranquil place, the air feels pure, filtered by thousands of leaves that breathe in carbon dioxide and release oxygen in a steady, patient cycle. The scent is crisp and clean, a mix of pine resin, damp earth, and subtle hints of distant wildflowers. Each breath you take feels nourishing, as though the forest is offering you something ancient and healing. You inhale slowly, deeply, letting the forest's calm settle into your chest. Imagine now sitting at the base of one of these monumental trees. Its roots rise and fall around you like gentle waves, forming natural seats and curves shaped by time. Leaning back against the trunk, you feel a profound sense of support. The tree's presence is quiet but powerful, like sitting against the steady heartbeat of the earth itself. The sound of your breath blends with the faint rustle of leaves, far above a sound that reaches you only after drifting through layers of branches and needles. Time feels different here, slower, softer. You become aware of how quickly human moments pass, days, seasons, years, while these trees measure time in centuries. Their growth rings, if you could see them, would reveal ages marked not by urgency, but by quiet cycles of sunlight, rainfall, and patience. This perspective brings a gentle comfort. It reminds you that life does not need to rush, that growth can be steady and unhurried, that resilience can be quiet and profoundly strong. As you stand again and begin to wander through the grove, you notice how the trees seem to create natural pathways, spaces where light falls most easily, guiding your steps. You follow these paths through gentle curves in the land, over soft rise and fall, through pockets of shadow and warm patches of sun. Occasionally, you glance upward to see the canopy swaying slowly with the wind, its movement subtle but continuous, like the slow breathing of a sleeping giant. Even the wind behaves gently here. It moves with a softened whisper, gliding through the high branches, carrying with it the faint scent of the forest. When it reaches the forest floor, it becomes a cool, calming presence that brushes lightly against your skin. Each breath of wind feels like the forest's way of reminding you to breathe deeply, to settle your thoughts, to let calmness take root within you. As you imagine the sun lowering toward the horizon, The grove shifts once more. The light becomes warmer, richer, glimmering through the branches in shades of amber and gold. Shadows stretch long across the forest floor. The trees glow softly, their bark warmed by the last touch of daylight. Birds settle into their roosts. The forest becomes even stiller, preparing for the calm of evening. You pause once more, letting the quiet of dusk settle into your own body. Night arrives gently. The canopy darkens into silhouette. The sky reveals scattered stars between the towering trunks. The air cools, carrying with it a deeper stillness. The forest remains calm, untroubled, holding its ancient breath in a peaceful rhythm that invites you to do the same. You feel grounded, steady, and deeply connected to the calm strength of these giants. As you walk away, the forest seems to whisper softly, not in words, but in presence, reminding you that endurance can be gentle, that growth can be steady, and that time moves with a kindness we often forget. 15. The stillness of lakes. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the towering giants of the forest, leaving behind the deep-rooted calm of ancient trunks and the quiet strength that lingered beneath their sweeping canopies. As you walk onward, the air begins to shift once more. The scent of pine softens into something cooler, gentler, touched by moisture. The breeze carries a faint whisper of open water. The trees around you begin to thin, allowing glimpses of something wide and bright just ahead. Soon, the forest opens fully into a clearing, and there before you lies a lake still, expansive, and shimmering like a vast mirror resting softly upon the earth. Tonight, we wander into the calm embrace of lakes, those quiet basins of water that collect the sky and hold it gently on their surface. Imagine walking slowly toward the lake's edge. The ground beneath your feet changes from dry forest earth to softer soil, touched by dampness and covered with small stones smoothed by years of water washing over them. The air here feels cooler, carrying with it the subtle scent of fresh water, moss, and distant rain. Each breath you take draws in this freshness, clearing your chest with a soothing softness. The surface of the lake reflects the sky above in nearly perfect detail, clouds drifting across it like slow-moving brushstrokes, the blue softened into gentle gradients. You pause at the shoreline, watching the water move with almost imperceptible motion. Tiny ripples form where the breeze touches the surface, spreading outward like quiet thoughts drifting through a peaceful mind. A single leaf floats past, carried by the faintest current. Its slow journey feels symbolic, as though the lake is showing you how to let things drift gently, without resistance, carried by the natural flow of time. Imagine kneeling at the edge and reaching your fingertips into the water. It is cool and smooth, slipping around your skin with a softness that feels calming and grounding. The water's clarity allows you to see small stones beneath its surface, rounded pebbles, muted in color, arranged in patterns shaped by years of gentle movement. Some are pale, some dark, some nearly translucent. The lake gathers them all, blending their shapes into natural mosaics that shift softly in the light. Lakes form through many quiet processes. Some are born from glaciers melting and retreating, leaving behind deep basins that fill slowly with water over centuries. Others arise from ancient volcanic craters that have cooled and collected rainfall. Still others form where rivers widen and settle, slowing their pace into calm stretches of reflective stillness. However they begin, lakes become havens of gentle balance, places where water, land, sky, and life gather in peaceful harmony. Imagine now walking along the shoreline. The sound of your footsteps mingles with the faint lapping of water against stones. The lake's edge curves gracefully, leading you past patches of reeds that sway lightly in the breeze. Their slender stalks create soft rustling sounds, like quiet whispers passing through the air. Small fish dart in the shallows, their movements quick but smooth. Occasionally, One breaks the surface with a tiny ripple that expands outward in ever-softening rings. As you continue, the surrounding trees reflect in the water. Pines, birches, willows, each one mirrored with such clarity that the reflections appear as vivid as the trees themselves. The water becomes a second world, an upside-down version of the landscape, where everything seems quieter, more peaceful, suspended in gentle stillness. Even when the wind stirs, the reflections move in soft, undulating patterns, blending tree silhouettes into abstract shapes of green and blue. Imagine finding a large, smooth rock at the water's edge. You sit upon it, feeling its cool surface beneath you. It is shaped by time, polished by countless seasons of rain, sun, and water brushing against it. From this vantage point, the lake stretches outward like a vast, calm field, holding the sky with effortless grace. The stillness of the water mirrors something deep within you, inviting your own thoughts to slow, to settle, to become as smooth as the lake's surface. Birds circle overhead, their movements gentle and fluid. A heron stands motionless in the shallows, watching the water with serene patience. Ducks glide across the surface in relaxed lines, their wakes creating tiny ripples that slowly fade into stillness. Occasionally, you hear the soft splash of a fish breaking the surface, a fleeting motion that quickly disappears back into quiet. The lake absorbs each sound softly, allowing nothing to disturb its calm for long. Imagine cupping some of the water in your hands. It slips through your fingers almost immediately, returning to the lake with tiny droplets that fall like whispers. This moment feels symbolic. Too, an acknowledgement that some things are meant to flow freely, that trying to hold them tightly disrupts their natural grace. The lake teaches you the art of gentle release, the beauty of soft acceptance. Lakes also hold depth, sometimes astonishing depth hidden beneath their placid surfaces. Sunlight reaches only so far before dissolving into darker shades of blue and green. Below the surface, a quiet world exists, shaped by slow-moving currents, silt drifting like underwater dust, and plants swaying with subtle rhythms. Fish move through these layers in peaceful arcs. Their world is slower, dimmer, but full of quiet motion that brings harmony to the lake's ecosystem. As the sun begins to lower in your imagination, the light changes. It softens into hues of warm gold and amber. The water catches these colors, transforming into a shimmering expanse of liquid light. The sky becomes a gradient of oranges, pinks, and soft purples. The boundary between water and sky seems to blur, as though the lake is absorbing the sunset into itself. The world feels wrapped in warmth, even as the air cools slightly with the approach of evening. Imagine sitting quietly, watching the sun slip toward the horizon. The lake reflects every moment of this transition, the shifting colors, the lengthening shadows, the soft darkening of the sky. Birds begin to settle into their nests. The wind slows to a faint whisper. The entire landscape seems to lean into stillness, as though preparing for the peaceful rest of night. As darkness begins to gather, the first stars appear above. The lake mirrors them softly, turning its surface into a gentle constellation. The water becomes a dark, quiet mirror, holding both the sky and the depth beneath in equal calm. The cool night air wraps around you, soothing and steady. The world feels hushed, as though the lake itself has settled into a deep, meditative breath. You rise slowly, letting your hand trail along the surface of the water one last time. The ripples fade almost immediately. The lake returns to stillness, just as your mind begins to settle into its own quiet place. You feel grounded, peaceful, and gently aware of the deep calm that comes from being near water that asks nothing, that reflects everything, and that holds the sky with the softest touch. 16. The quiet deserts. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the still, reflective waters of the lake, carrying with you its gentle calm, its mirrored skies, and the soft, lingering coolness that clings to your breath. As you walk onward, the air begins to warm, the breeze grows drier, the scents of moss and fresh water fade into something subtler, earthy, sun-baked, clean. The land ahead opens wide into a vast expanse of muted colors and slow horizons. Here, the world stretches outward into silence, shaped by wind and time, held together by endurance and solitude. You are entering the desert, a place often imagined as barren, yet rich with quiet beauty, resilience, and ancient wisdom. As you step forward in your imagination, the ground shifts beneath your feet. The soil becomes sand-fine, warm, and powdery. Each step leaves a soft imprint that the wind gently smooths behind you. The landscape around you glows beneath the sun, not harshly, but with a soft radiance that reflects off dunes, rocks, and grains of sand like the surface of a golden sea. The desert's palette is gentle, pale golds, soft browns, dusty roses, muted oranges. Everything feels softened by light, shaped by calm winds, and held in a state of profound stillness. Imagine pausing for a moment. The air is warm against your skin, but not overwhelming. It feels as though the heat is holding you, wrapping you in a slow, grounding embrace. The sky above stretches clear and immense, a dome of soft blue without the weight of clouds. In this openness, the horizon feels infinite. You sense a quiet invitation, one that encourages your breath to deepen and your thoughts to drift more slowly. Begin walking again, and picture the dunes rising before you in gentle, sweeping curves. They look like frozen waves sculpted by the wind, each one shaped over days, months, even centuries. Their edges are soft, their slopes smooth. As you climb one, the sand shifts slightly beneath your steps, creating the faintest whisper, just enough sound to tie your presence to this vast, silent landscape. At the top of the dune, you see the desert extend in all directions, rolling in broad, serene patterns that echo the calm of the sea you left behind. The desert is a place defined by extremes, yet everything within it moves in slow, thoughtful rhythms. The wind sculpts the dunes particle by particle. Rain, when it comes at all, arrives in brief, gentle bursts that soak into the earth almost instantly. Plants survive with deep roots and quiet patience. Animals move with careful intention, conserving energy, resting in the shade of rocks, emerging when the air cools. There is no rush here. Everything is deliberate, steady, unhurried. Imagine walking past clusters of desert plants. They are small but hardy low shrubs with silvery leaves that reflect sunlight, tall cacti rising like quiet guardians, and tiny flowers blooming in unexpected places when moisture lingers just long enough. Their presence is a reminder that life endures even in the most unlikely places, adapting with grace rather than force. Touch a cactus spine gently, not to disturb it, but to acknowledge the way it protects its precious water. Feel the coarse texture of a sun-baked rock. Notice how the desert reveals its beauty not in abundance, but in subtlety. As you walk deeper into this imagined scene, the sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon. The light shifts almost imperceptibly at first, turning warmer and softer. Shadows stretch gently across the sand, creating long lines that follow the curves of the dunes. The air cools with a comforting slowness. The desert begins to relax, releasing the heat it held throughout the day. You feel the temperature change on your skin, cooler now, more refreshing, like a quiet exhale from the land itself. With the sun lower in the sky, the colors of the desert transform. Gold becomes amber. Amber becomes rose. Rose deepens into soft lavender. The dunes glow with the warm hues of twilight, each ridge brushing against the next in shades that seem almost painted. The sky above mirrors this transition gradients, evolving from blue to peach, then to gentle violet. This is one of the desert's quiet gifts, the ability to turn simple emptiness into a canvas of breathtaking color, all without sound or movement. Imagine finding a place to sit at the base of a tall dune. The sand here is cooler, shaded, soft beneath your hands. Sitting here feels like resting in the cradle of the earth, supported by curves shaped with the patience of time. The horizon seems even wider from this vantage point. You watch as the last edge of the sun sinks out of sight, leaving behind a band of fire-orange light that fades with each passing breath. The desert enters twilight with the grace of a long, slow sigh. As night deepens, a quiet transformation begins. Stars appear one by one, then in clusters, then in sweeping arcs across the darkening sky. With no trees to block your view, no cities to dim the light, the stars shine with a clarity that feels ancient and intimate. They seem closer here, as though leaning gently toward the earth. The Milky Way stretches, overhead, in a soft, glowing trail. The desert's silence becomes its own kind of sound, pure, steady, and deeply comforting. The air cools further, brushing your skin with a night breeze that carries the scent of dust and rock. Faint, but grounding. You listen for movement and find only the softest hints. Perhaps the quiet rustle of a nocturnal creature moving somewhere far across the sand, or the gentle sigh of wind shifting a few grains. The desert at night is not empty. It is simply peaceful, full of life that moves carefully, quietly, respectfully. Imagine lying back on the cool sand, your body supported by the slope of the dune. Above you, the stars shimmer like distant memories. Around you, the desert holds you in its vast, open arms. You feel small, but in a way that brings comfort rather than fear. The openness here allows your thoughts to unfurl, your breath to deepen, your mind to soften into stillness. In this quiet, you understand that the desert is not barren. It is spacious. It is peaceful. It is a place where the earth invites you to let go of excess, to strip away noise, to listen to the simplest rhythms of existence. It is a landscape that teaches calm through openness, resilience through simplicity, and beauty through subtle, gentle presence. As you sit up once more and begin to walk back across the sand, the night sky follows you. The stars guide your steps with their steady light. The dunes glow faintly beneath the moon, their curves outlined in silver. You carry with you the desert's quiet wisdom, its spacious calm, its patient breath. 17. The slow breath of glaciers. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the warm, moonlit silence of the desert, leaving behind its silver dunes and the soft glow of constellations that drifted above your resting form. As you walk onward in your imagination, the air begins to cool. The dryness fades into something crisp and pure. A faint, distant brightness appears on the horizon, glowing softly like frost caught in morning light. Gradually, the world around you transforms into a landscape shaped not by warmth or wind, but by cold, time, and an ancient patience that moves slower than thought. You have arrived at the glaciers, those immense rivers of ice that breathe in inches, carve mountains, and hold within them the quiet memory of ages long gone. As you approach this glacial realm, the first sensation is the air itself. It feels clean, almost sharp, brushing against your skin with a chill that awakens your senses without unsettling them. The scent carried on the breeze is unmistakable, a mix of cold stone, pure ice, and the faint mineral whisper of frozen water that has waited centuries to meet the open air again. Beneath your boots, the ground transitions from solid earth to patches of frost, then to smooth stone sculpted by glacial retreat. Polished so finely, it reflects faint hints of sky. Imagine walking closer until the glacier rises before you like a frozen tide paused in mid-motion. Its sheer face towers above, shimmering in shades of blue and white. The colors shift with the light pale turquoise where the sun touches it, deep sapphire where shadows gather, almost glowing in the recesses where fresh ice lies untouched by warmth. The glacier doesn't sparkle like snow. Instead, it glows from within, as though lit by memories trapped in ice. You take another step closer. The glacier emits a sound so faint you almost don't hear it at first. A soft crack, a distant groan, a sighing rumble that echoes through its frozen chambers. It is not threatening. It is simply the glacier's slow breath, the quiet movement of ice adjusting to its own immense weight. Every sound is a reminder that even the slowest forms of nature are still alive in their own rhythm. Imagine placing your hand against the ice. It is colder than anything you have touched, but in a way that feels steady rather than shocking. The surface is textured smooth in some places, rough in others, shaped by centuries of compression. You feel the faint vibrations of internal shifts, like the heartbeat of a giant creature sleeping underneath layers of frozen time. This glacier may have begun thousands of years ago, with snowflakes falling softly upon a mountain peak. Over time, those flakes were pressed together, compacted, and transformed into dense ice that began to flow ever so slowly downhill, carving the land beneath it with patient determination. As you walk along the glacier's edge, you see crevasses, deep, narrow fissures, where the ice has cracked under pressure. Their depths glow with pure, luminous blue, the color of ancient ice packed so tightly that air has been squeezed out entirely. These deep blues feel almost otherworldly, like veins of frozen light running through the glacier's body. You peer into one of them, watching the way light seems to fall endlessly downward, absorbed into shades of blue that grow darker and darker until they resemble the night sky in winter. Now imagine stepping onto the glacier itself. Your feet crunch gently against the surface, creating crisp, delicate sounds that echo faintly across the icy expanse. The glacier's surface is not smooth. It is textured with ripples and ridges formed by the constant, slow movement of ice. Some areas shine with a thin layer of meltwater that reflects the sky like a mirror. Others are frosted with wind-blown snow, softening the harshness of the ice beneath. Every step feels deliberate, grounding, quiet. As you walk, the world around you becomes expansive. The glacier stretches out before you like a frozen ocean, its waves paused in time. In the distance, mountains rise sharply, their dark, rocky faces contrasting with the pale glow of the ice. The sky above is crisp and clear, its blue sharpened by cold air and high altitude. Clouds drift slowly, their shadows gliding across the glacier's surface in soft, gentle movements. The silence here is profound, not empty, but filled with the quiet presence of something vast and ancient. Imagine now that you pause and listen. Beneath the surface, the glacier hums faintly. Tiny streams of meltwater run through hidden channels, carving small tunnels as they move. Ice expands and contracts with temperature shifts, creating soft pops and echoes. In some places, chunks of ice carve off the glacier's edge, falling with a resonant crash that fades slowly into the frozen distance. Yet even these movements feel part of the glacier's natural rhythm, not disruptive but deeply patient. As you continue your slow exploration, you notice the subtle details. Patterns of wind-carved snow, delicate crystals forming on small ridges, rocks embedded in the ice like fossils captured during the glacier's long journey. These rocks, carried for miles, scrape along the land beneath the ice, carving valleys and shaping mountains. When the glacier eventually retreats, it leaves behind landscapes full of soft hills, scattered boulders, and lakes born from meltwater, quiet reminders of its powerful journey. Imagine now walking toward a meltwater stream that runs along the glacier's edge. The water is stunningly clear, so pure it seems almost invisible except for the way it distorts light. It flows in gentle, steady patterns, its movement creating soft murmurs that echo against the ice walls. You kneel beside it and dip your fingers into the cold flow. The chill is striking but invigorating, carrying with it the freshness of snow that fell centuries ago. You take a slow breath, feeling the crisp air fill your lungs, and your mind grows as clear as the meltwater itself. Glaciers act as reservoirs of time. Within their layers lie tiny bubbles of ancient atmosphere, particles of ash from old volcanic eruptions, even microscopic remnants of past climates. Scientists can read these layers like pages of a book, learning about the Earth's long history by studying the ice. But in this moment, standing here in your imagination, you simply feel the presence of age, not measured in years or centuries, but in quiet, enduring existence. As the imagined day drifts toward evening, the colors of the glacier transform. The harsh midday brightness softens into gentle hues, light blues deepen, shadows lengthen, and the ice begins to glow with a subtle inner luminescence. The sky shifts from blue to gold, then to the soft lavender of approaching dusk. The mountains become silhouettes, dark and still. The glacier reflects the fading light, turning into a vast, glowing field of silver and blue. Imagine sitting now on a smooth, polished rock near the glacier's edge. The cold air wraps around you, but it feels soothing rather than harsh. Each breath you take is slow and full. The glacier's quiet settles into you like a calm weight, anchoring your body and your mind. The silence becomes almost meditative, allowing your thoughts to slow into the same steady rhythm as the ice itself, expanding, contracting, moving with the pace of centuries. As night falls, the world grows even quieter. The stars appear above, bright and sharp in the cold air. Their reflections shimmer faintly on small pools of meltwater. The glacier's surface glows under the moonlight, turning into a soft, sparkling plain that stretches into the distance. You sit in stillness, enveloped in the profound calm of this frozen world, feeling connected to its patience, its resilience, its ancient slow breath. When you finally rise and begin to walk away, the glacier remains behind you, silent, luminous, and alive in its own timeless way. You carry with you the deep calm of ice, the clarity of cold air, and the understanding that some of the world's greatest movements happen so slowly we never see them, yet their presence shapes everything. 18. The wandering rivers. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the cold silver expanse of the glacier, leaving behind its slow breath, its shimmering blues, and the quiet, ancient patience that settled into your thoughts. As you walk onward, the landscape around you softens. The sharpness of ice becomes the smoothness of stone. The air warms gently, carrying a new sound, soft, rhythmic, and alive. You follow this sound as it grows clearer with each step, a delicate murmur that rises and falls like calm breathing. Soon you see its source, a river born from the melting heart of the glacier you left behind, winding gracefully across the land. Tonight, we drift with the rivers, those wandering paths of water that shape valleys, nourish life, and move endlessly toward faraway seas. Imagine standing at the very beginning of this river. The water here is young, cold, and clear, flowing in narrow ribbons over stones polished by centuries of gentle passage. It moves with a quiet urgency, as though eager to begin its long journey, yet its motion is soft, never disruptive. You crouch beside it and listen. The sound is delicate, tiny trickles, slipping between pebbles, small splashes as droplets leap and settle, the faintest hum of water gathering itself. It is the first whisper of a story that will stretch for hundreds of miles. Dip your fingers into the current. The water is icy, refreshed by the glacier's breath, carrying with it the purity of snow that fell long before this moment. It is cool enough to sharpen your senses, yet gentle enough to soothe. The river moves around your hand without resistance, flowing past you in an unbroken line. It does not pause, yet it does not hurry. It simply follows its path, patient and persistent. As you begin walking along the river's edge, the world around you shifts into harmony with its flow. The ground becomes softer, covered in grasses that thrive on the river's moisture. The air grows richer with the scent of wet earth. Sunlight dances on the water's surface in shimmering fragments, creating shifting patterns that move with the current. The river widens gradually, gathering strength as small streams join it, each adding its voice to the unfolding song. The river's motion shapes the land with gentle determination. Over time, it carves valleys, cuts through rock, and carries soil to distant places. Yet while its power is immense, its presence feels soothing. You watch as the water curls around stones, gliding over them with soft ripples. Some stones are smooth and rounded, shaped by years of tumbling along the riverbed. Others remain sharp, newly arrived from higher cliffs. The river embraces them all, touching each one with the same steady care. Imagine, now that you reach a bend where the river slows. Here, the water spreads into a wider pool, calm and glassy. Its surface reflects the sky so clearly that the clouds seem to float both above and beneath you. Tree branches dip their leaves into the water, as though testing its coolness. A pair of dragonflies hover above the reflection, their wings glinting like tiny shards of glass. Small fish swim in lazy circles just beneath the surface, their movements barely disturbing the stillness. You sit at the river's edge, placing your hand on the soft earth. It is damp and cool, shaped by countless flows of water. The gentle scent of moss rises with the breeze. You can hear the soft buzz of insects, the distant call of birds, and the quiet conversation of water meeting stone. Every sound blends into a tranquil symphony. You feel your breath aligning with the river's rhythm, slow, smooth, and steady. As you rise again and continue walking, the river begins to change. It narrows in some places, flowing faster, creating delicate white foam as it tumbles over small drops. Yet even these movements feel soft, like laughter in nature's voice. The river's path twists gently, following the contours of the land with graceful acceptance. It does not fight the obstacles it meets, it simply moves around them, softening hard edges, smoothing rough places, finding new directions. In the wider stretches, the river invites life to flourish. Birds gather along its banks, dipping their beaks into the cool water. Deer step carefully into the shallows, drinking with slow, measured motions. Trees grow tall nearby, their roots reaching into the moist soil for nourishment. Wildflowers bloom in vibrant clusters, yellows, purples, and whites that sway with the breeze. The river nurtures everything it touches, yet asks nothing in return. Imagine coming upon a place where the river branches into several smaller channels. The land becomes a mosaic of water and earth, weaving together in graceful patterns. Each tributary moves with its own quiet personality, some slow and shallow, others quick and narrow. They all eventually reunite downstream, merging seamlessly back into the main flow. This gentle branching reminds you of the way thoughts wander, divide, and return to stillness. As the imagined day drifts toward evening, the river begins to glow with warm colors. Sunlight stretches across its surface, turning the water into a flowing ribbon of gold. Shadows lengthen along the banks. The air cools slightly, carrying hints of moisture and the earthy smell of dusk. You walk slowly, feeling the river's calm settling deeply into your chest. Each step becomes softer, more deliberate, as though the landscape itself is guiding you into rest. At a quiet stretch of water, you stop again. The river has slowed here, becoming reflective as a mirror, Trees on the opposite bank appear upside down in the stillness, every leaf, every branch, duplicated so perfectly that the boundary between reality and reflection seems to dissolve. You kneel and watch. The water holds the colors of the sky, pale pinks, soft blues, gentle purples as they shift gently with the setting sun. For a moment, the entire world feels suspended in this delicate reflection. Night approaches, and the river darkens into deep shades of blue and black. Stars appear above, their shimmering points, stretching across the sky. They reflect faintly on the river's surface, creating a soft, rippling constellation. The water continues its journey, quiet in the darkness, carrying the day's light into the night. A cool breeze brushes your skin. It carries the faint sound of the river's flow, a sound that feels as steady as breath. Imagine sitting near the water one last time. The river's presence is calming, steady, and ancient. Its movement never stops, yet it never rushes. It flows with purpose and peace, carving its path with gentle persistence. As you listen to its quiet music, you feel a deep stillness settle within you, a reflection of the river's own quiet strength. Eventually, you rise and walk away, following a path that leads you gently away from the water's edge. The river continues on, winding through the night, carrying stories of mountains, forests, and skies. 19. The whispering coastlines. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the wandering river, leaving behind its murmuring currents, its mirrored dusk surface, and the soft rhythm that carried your breath along its winding path. As you walk onward, the air begins to shift once more. The scent of fresh water gives way to something sharper, saltier, touched by wind that has traveled long distances across open seas. The land begins to flatten. The distant horizon brightens with a pale, silvery shimmer. Soon, you hear it a gentle, rhythmic hush, rising and falling like the slow breath of a sleeping world. You are approaching the coastline, the meeting place of land and ocean, where waves whisper to the shore in endless, soothing patterns. As you arrive in your imagination, the vastness of the sea opens before you. The ocean stretches outward in a great sweep of blues and greens, its surface textured by soft ripples that catch the sunlight in wavering lines. The sky expands above it, wide and open, reflecting hues that shift with every passing moment, soft gold in the late afternoon, gentle pink as the sun lowers, deep blue as night approaches. Everything feels spacious here. The coast is a threshold between worlds, a place where water reaches out to greet the land again and again. Imagine stepping onto the sand. It yields gently under your feet, warm from the sun, shaped by countless waves and tides. Each grain is a fragment of ancient rock, softened into smoothness over thousands of years. The sand shifts slightly with your steps, creating a soft, granular sound that mixes with the quiet whisper of the waves. The scent of salt fills your lungs with each breath, clean, invigorating, unmistakable. It carries hints of seaweed, distant winds, and the faint coolness of the deep ocean. Walk slowly toward the water's edge. The ocean's voice grows louder, yet still remains soft, a steady, rhythmic hush. Waves roll in, one after another, each one unique yet part of an endless pattern. When the water reaches your feet, it feels cool and refreshing, swirling gently around your ankles before retreating with a soft pull, leaving patterns of foam that dissolve into delicate, lace-like shapes. You feel connected instantly to something vast and timeless. The coastline is a place of constant motion, yet everything feels calm. The waves do not rush. They follow their rhythm, shaped by the pull of the moon and the push of distant winds. Tides rise and fall with ancient reliability, revealing patterns in the sand, uncovering shells, and drawing new lines with each cycle. Even the wind seems to move with purpose, brushing against your skin with a cool, salty touch, carrying the distant cries of seabirds soaring overhead. Imagine walking along the shoreline now. The sand beneath your feet becomes firmer where the waves have recently washed over it. Your footsteps leave clear impressions that the next wave gently smooths away, as though the ocean is quietly erasing each moment, allowing the shore to begin anew. You notice small treasures, scattered along the way: smooth pebbles, pieces of driftwood polished by water, shells with intricate spirals, each one holding a small story of its journey through waves and tides. The coastline is shaped not by sudden events, but by gentle persistence. Waves brush the shore repeatedly, carrying grains of sand from one place to another. Cliffs are softened over centuries. Rocks are sculpted into rounded shapes. Even the smallest tide pool becomes a tiny world, filled with life that has learned to thrive in the changing cycles of water and air. Kneel beside one of these pools now. Watch the way sea anemones sway with the movement of water. See small crabs scuttle across smooth stones. Notice the tiny fish flickering in quick, graceful motions. Everything is delicate, interconnected, and alive with quiet purpose. As you continue walking, the coastline shifts into new forms. In some places, the shore widens into soft expanses of sand. In others, tall cliffs rise sharply, their surfaces shaped by ages of wind and waves. The cliffs hold layers of geological history, bands of different colors, marking periods of Earth's long evolution. Waves crash softly at their base, sending up gentle sprays of cool mist that drift toward you like fine, salted rain. You can feel the coolness on your skin, refreshing and light. Imagine finding a piece of smooth driftwood on the shore. It feels light in your hands, shaped by its time in the ocean, edges worn, surface polished by waves. Driftwood carries the quiet memory of distant places, having traveled far before arriving here. Holding it, you feel a connection to the ocean's wandering currents, to the journeys that water makes across the globe, binding coastlines together in invisible threads. As the imagined afternoon drifts into evening, the light changes. The sun lowers toward the horizon, casting a warm glow across the water. The waves shimmer with gold, each crest catching the last touch of sunlight. Shadows stretch across the sand. The sky becomes a blend of orange, rose, and soft lavender, mirrored in delicate ripples across the sea. The coastline feels suspended, as if time has slowed to match the pace of the waves. Sit down on the sand now, close enough to feel the spray of the water but far enough from the incoming tide. The sand beneath you is cool and supportive. The sound of the ocean fills your ears, steady, rhythmic, timeless. Each wave seems to breathe, inhaling as it approaches, exhaling as it retreats. You find your own breath mirroring this pattern, deepening, softening, aligning with the gentle pull and release. As twilight deepens, seabirds return to their nests along the cliffs or settle onto the water in quiet clusters. Their calls soften into occasional murmurs. The sky darkens into deep blues and purples. Stars begin to appear, one by one, until the sky is sprinkled with delicate points of light. The ocean reflects them faintly, creating a shimmering, rippling constellation that dances across the surface. The air cools, brushing lightly against your skin. You feel the peaceful weight of the night settling gently over the coastline. The waves continue their calm rhythm, unchanged by darkness. They whisper along the shore, steady and reassuring, like the earth's quiet lullaby. You rise slowly, brushing sand from your hands. The coastline stretches before you in both directions, serene and timeless. The ocean's calm lingers in your thoughts, settling deep within you like a soft tide. As you walk away from the shore, you carry with you the rhythm of the waves, the openness of the horizon, and the whispering peace of land meeting sea. The infinite night sky. Imagine now that you are stepping away from the whispering coastline, leaving behind the rhythmic hush of waves, the shimmering tide pools, and the soft glow of twilight that settled gently over the shore. As you walk, the world grows quieter. The air becomes cooler, smoother, touched by the stillness that arrives only when night fully embraces the land. The scents of salt and sea fade into a faint memory. Above you, the sky deepens into darker hues, gathering its stars one by one like distant lanterns being lit in a vast celestial hall. You lift your gaze, and the night sky opens before you an endless canvas of quiet cosmic wonder. Imagine standing in a wide, open field now. The ground is soft beneath your feet, covered in cool grass that bends gently under your weight. No trees block your view, no buildings break the horizon, just a vast, unobstructed stretch of sky that reaches in every direction. The air feels crisp and clean, carrying the faintest traces of earth and dew. You inhale deeply, letting your breath settle into the spacious calm of the night. The sky above is deep and velvety, a rich expanse of darkness that invites your attention not with emptiness but with possibility. Stars scatter across it in delicate clusters and sweeping trails. Some shine with steady, serene light, soft whites and cool blues, while others flicker faintly, like tiny pulses drifting across the distance. Each star feels ancient, its light traveling through space for thousands, sometimes millions of years before reaching your waiting eyes. You stand beneath them not as an observer, but as part of the same story, grounded on Earth, yet connected to the cosmos through shared time. Imagine the Milky Way now, arching across the sky like a river of starlight. Its core glows faintly with a soft, milky haze, textured with countless points of light that blend into one another. This shimmering band is the heart of our galaxy, a quiet reminder that our solar system is just one among billions drifting in its gentle spiral. The thought isn't overwhelming, it is grounding. It brings a sense of perspective, showing you how vast the universe is, yet how softly it holds each star, each planet, each wandering comet within its patient embrace. You tilt your head upward and allow your eyes to wander across the celestial patterns. Constellations emerge, forms shaped by stories older than recorded history. The stars that compose them may be light years apart, yet from your vantage point on Earth, they align into familiar figures. These patterns have guided travelers, inspired myths, and offered comfort to those who gazed upon them with wonder. Now, in this quiet moment, they guide your imagination gently across the sky. Imagine lying down on the cool grass, feeling the earth beneath you solid, steady, and reassuring. The night sky unfolds more fully above you, its depth becoming clearer as your eyes adjust to the darkness. More stars appear, faint at first, then brightening. You notice how the sky seems to breathe, how the stars shimmer subtly as the atmosphere moves in calm, invisible waves. The faintest breeze brushes your skin, cool and soft, carrying with it the peaceful silence of the night. Your thoughts begin to slow, settling into the same gentle rhythm as the stars above. Here, under this expansive sky, time feels different. Each moment stretches softly, like long, quiet breaths. In the absence of noise and the presence of infinite space, your mind opens, your awareness widens, and your inner world becomes as calm as the night itself. Imagine now a meteor streaking across the sky, a brief, silent arc of light that flashes and disappears. It leaves no sound, no echo, just a trace of awe. Meteors are small fragments of cosmic debris, burning softly as they enter the Earth's atmosphere. Their brief appearance reminds you that even in a universe so vast, motion and change are constant. Yet in this moment, their presence feels peaceful, not fleeting, a gentle reminder that all things, even the swiftest, have their place in the cosmic rhythm. The moon rises slowly above the horizon, glowing with a steady silver light. Its soft illumination spreads across the field, casting gentle shadows and tinting the landscape in pale shades of white and gray. The moon's surface is marked with ancient craters, shaped by events long before human memory. Yet its glow tonight feels intimate, as though it watches over the earth with quiet familiarity. Moonlight touches your face, your hands, the tips of grass around you, weaving everything together in a soft, serene harmony. As the night deepens, the sky grows clearer. The crispness of the air sharpens the stars, making them sparkle with delicate brilliance. You may see planets among them, steady lights that shine without flicker, reflecting the sun from vast distances. Perhaps Jupiter glows softly with warm gold, or Venus gleams with bright white intensity. These wandering lights are companions in the sky, moving along their paths with predictable grace. The quiet of the night sky invites reflection. You think of the landscapes you have journeyed through, the mountains rising with ancient patience, the forests breathing in green whispers, the deserts stretching in silence, the rivers flowing with gentle persistence. Each one felt alive in its own way, filled with presence and calm. Now, beneath this infinite sky, you feel all those moments returning to you, blending together like constellations drawn across memory. You close your eyes for a moment and simply breathe. The night air fills your lungs with a sense of vastness. You imagine the earth turning slowly beneath you, carrying you gently through space. You imagine the stars continuing their quiet shine, unaffected by your presence, yet somehow more beautiful because you are here to witness them. You imagine the entire universe unfolding in silence, vast, patient, and endlessly serene. When you open your eyes again, the sky seems even larger. The stars stretch endlessly, a quiet reminder that peace exists not only in small places, lakes, forests, dunes, but also in the vastness of cosmic space. The night sky holds all things gently, without boundary or urgency. It is an invitation to rest, to reflect, to feel small in a way that brings comfort rather than fear. Imagine sitting up slowly, feeling the cool earth beneath your hands. The horizon glows faintly with the distant promise of dawn, though night still holds the land in its calm embrace. You stand, letting the last view of the star-filled sky settle into your memory. This final natural wonder is not a place on Earth, but a window into something larger, a reminder of the quiet beauty of existence itself. As you walk away from the field, the night sky stays with you, its calm woven into your thoughts. You feel grounded, expansive, and deeply at peace. The journey through Earth's natural wonders has carried you across landscapes of stone, water, air, and light. Now, beneath the infinite night, your mind rests in gentle quiet,